We in the rum shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. We in the rum shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
We in the rum shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Rum Shop Talk. We're back after a 1 week break, of course, a justified break. As you know, Philip's father passed. We have to say condolences again. Hope all the funeral passed in good order, and God rest his soul. So we had to take a week off last week because the funeral was Thursday. But we're back this week. With boy, we missed 1 week, boy. Like I don't know, boy. When you miss 1 week, guys, that's it.
Battery charge.
Yeah, no, Stephan is here, Phillip Alexander is here, and we have a lot to talk about. We have Faris Al-Rawi, Vincent Nelson, now Mendes, SC, Peterson, SC. You have the cabinet. You have Ram Logan. You have Ramdi.
On that list.
You have
On that list, you have
Karen also.
all these people who wish him, but have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Yes, yeah. Because
The whole country want to tell you.
But let me start with that light, right? Let me start with that light before we get into the heavy stuff. We have PNM internal elections to talk about, and the changes, Matterson. These changes, I think they're counting, it's over 9 days, they want to count the ballots.
Yeah, well, I heard the general secretary. It's not anything new, eh? They do it like that. I don't think it's 9 days, but they do it over a period of time.
They do it over a period of time. So we'll get to that. So we're dealing with that. We have a NACTA poll. We have a NACTA poll that came out. We'll talk about that. It's a comedy.
Don't vex me.
We have
You start off the show nice and light and you're going to vex me with NACTA.
No, but I know that will trip you off because...
No, because I like the investigation that prior me Harry put on him. Prior me Harry put an investigation on Vishnu. The man used to tell me his name is Vishnu. Prior put an investigation on him. And it turns out NACTA was something that used to be something decades ago. But the people who set up NACTA abandoned it. It ran its course. He was the last man standing. I don't know what his role was in the thing. And he keep it.
And
he running NACTA and giving polls and giving predictions. And Trinidad media running NACTA polls like if it is something
like it's a legitimate poll.
When Prior pressed him today, because he said all of the political parties are asking what is the methodology. You can't just say you're polling.
Exactly. You have a methodology.
You must have a methodology.
If you poll Balize House, you'll get a result. If you poll Renzi Complex, you'll get a result.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So what is your methodology? How do we know that we could trust your polling data?
Exactly.
Exactly.
He have these 520 people that he talking about. I think it's Trinidad and Guyana, something like that. But I asked Prior, I said, did you ask him if it's the same 520 people who tell him PNM was winning Tobago? Because that's what NACTA said.
Yeah.
The day before, PNM winning outright, hands down, handsomely.
We go talk about that. So we have a few things to talk about.
A set of people with no credibility. They're giving them all this airtime.
No, but we will get to that.
That's how operations.
We will get to that. We have flooding. The place is underwater again up to Sunday, Monday.
Today was small shutdown.
The whole of Westmoreland shut down.
Westmoreland shut down today. Nobody could have get out. 2 hours this afternoon with the rain that fall today.
It had rain today?
Yeah, probably in the West.
I was sleeping.
The Ministry of Communications have people telling people that everywhere there's half flood, and that's true. But not everywhere there's half flood every day like
every day, and not only that. Not only, I was mentioning, we will talk about that, we'll get to that. Alright, but let me start, I just want to mention. It's a real thing. So Ian for a very entertaining rum shop talk. Now, on the Imber thing with the HYMC, I saw that somebody sent me, we will start on a light note, somebody sent me that on WhatsApp. You saw it?
No, I
You didn't see that?
It started off.
Take a drive on the highway, we'll see that rain.
It started off with this girl Nazma. NASMA went outside the parliament for the budget with HYMC. So I asking people, what it is this message is? HYMC. Somebody tell me, is have yourself a Merry Christmas. I said, but kind of early. You know, to be wishing people, somebody say, hold your man close. I didn't know him but to be in that.
But Saddam Hussein brought it up in Parliament during the budget debate saying, I saw a sign outside the Parliament in both HYMC, it had to be how you're managing the country.
It could have been
so it could have been that. And then we see this thing was sent to me. So I tell the person, I say, look, that could be Photoshop. Who tell me to tell the person that? The person went and drive to make sure and take the picture. And then I see all kind of people posting this thing. They put it up on one of the flyovers. A big banner in both HYMC.
But somebody just sent me, there's a whole thing now where you can get t-shirts, caps, mats that come in your house.
That's what's set up.
HYMC.
I'm excited to think of that.
Stephan, that's going to be the big ticket item for Christmas.
But you telling me?
I want that. If you don't know what to give me a
HYMC. Any color will do. All right, so let's get started with I can't hear people are really pissed off, you know. And then today all I hear what he say, but like he want people to tell him it again. He defend the oil and the gas price in the budget and he tell the critics to do better research.
Do better research. I want to ask you a question.
Let me start here. Let me go there.
If Guyana have oil and we have oil, how come Guyana oil making money and our oil spoiled? Our oil rotten?
Our production down too.
According to what they're saying. But they have certain people that pump in hundreds of millions of dollars in oil.
Yeah, but you see, my thing is
if Heritage Petroleum making billions and they in the oil business, that's their job, right? Heritage is the oil part.
Right.
Petrotrin was the refinery part.
Right.
So you can't tell me it's because we don't have a refinery, we're not making enough oil. Because Guyana has a refinery.
Yeah.
So if Guyana just selling bulk oil and making money, how come?
And they could bring down the price by the pump.
But they tell me we're not selling as much oil as Guyana. No problem. But Barbados and Dominica and Grenada are selling oil at all. And they bring down their price at the pump. Why not price
St. Martin's too. St. Martin's too. St. Martin's brought down, they reduced the price by the pump because they said they wanted to take a little pressure off the people. Especially coming out of the pandemic.
Lockdown, a lot of people have lost a lot. And you don't want to set hyperinflation in your
I think they're trying to create hyperinflation on purpose.
I think they're trying to. Look, you're talking about these things. So many lies, so many justifications that in the bright light of day falling apart and melting like 5-cent shave ice in Hudson. Virgin Airlines pull out of Trinidad. They say January they're done. So we only have Air Caribbean. And we will lose half of our Lesser Antilles crowd because Antigua launched their own airline. You see that? Antigua Airways, yeah. So the whole thing that Caribbean Airline or Airways or whatever it is represents the whole Caribbean after the Air Jamaica purchase is nonsense. And we're going to lose a lot of the traffic. So I want to know what the $1 billion have to spend in Tobago for. If we don't have the rooms, we don't have the sandals, we don't have... At some point that Rocky Point project going to stop because the environmentalists heating up on that.
Yeah.
So if you don't have increased room stock, why are you building a bigger airport?
I have absolutely no idea.
And foreigners coming to Trinidad and Tobago, not coming here for the American experience or the European experience. They come in for the Caribbean
experience.
They want to come down that staircase by the runway. And people there beating pan and putting things on your neck.
Yeah, but before they come down, remember that advisory come out here? Remember the advisory from last week Friday?
Don't come here.
To the US Embassy, still the Port of Spain.
Don't come here. Bring that one. Circle back to that. But I want to ask, right? Why we selling the American experience? Why we not making our airport carrot shed? Why we don't have our stewardesses? This is no joke. I mean, people make it as a joke. But Trinidad Airline should have dice hanging in the rearview mirror in the cockpit. You know, we should have them neon thing under the plane when we land. Because seriously, that's what the public.
Just now you said Trinidad Airlines should have Snoop Dogg as the pilot.
But
man.
the traveling public don't want to come to mini New York. They're not looking for that.
I understand where you're coming from, because I used to say, like, with all these urban radio stations that we have, right? What radio stations we have? 30 something? Must be 40 by now? 1.4 million people. Small little dot on the island. We have about nearly 40 radio stations. We have too many radio stations in this on a small island like this. But and the majority of them playing American music. But if I jump on a plane to come to the Caribbean, I'm trying to get away from that.
Boss man, you want to take selfie of you with
a steel pan, somebody with a steel pan.
Trinidad thing.
Holding the sticks for the pan like if you're playing it all that.
You want pictures of Callaloo on doubles, look what I eating. Because a Callaloo is a challenge to foreigners.
Of course.
First time you see a bowl of Callaloo, it look like canal water. You check it.
Yeah.
The first time a foreigner but I just say that from the time you step off that plane in our airport, it should be hot, you should be sweating, they should have fan blowing. I'm telling you.
You should be traveling in a short sleeve shirt with 2 buttons down.
You know,
and a short pants when you come in here.
You want people to go back to the plane in the costume and the freezing? With air condition, they don't need that.
You think anybody that's landing in Hawaii in a suit? Hawaii is part of America.
Come on, man. You don't want to see Starbucks in the middle of the airport. That is where you need them 5 doubles box. You can imagine, in the center of the airport, you have 5 of them sauce doubles back to back around each other. And line inside. The foreigners who coming off the plane want the Trinidad experience.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to go Storby for Miss Jean curry crab and dumpling. She should be in the center of the airport. You get a sample, a little dumpling, a crab leg, and you know what you're in Tobago for. They should have goat running in the airport because people come in.
Well, why not say there should be racing goat on the track?
But I know
on the track when the plane landed.
You
should be flying and see that boat race going on.
Exactly. If you get a track alongside the fence, and as the plane coming over, goat running, people say, hey! That is what they want. Joke or no joke. If you go
to Wembley.
When you go foreign, you're not going for what you left home. You're going for a new experience.
Yeah.
You know, distract.
We don't give people that experience.
Distract my mind. They're supposed to come off that plane with women in carnival costume, men beating pan on the runway.
Yeah.
If rain fall and wet you, oh God, you're telling people.
The problem is we trying to be like them.
We
trying so hard to be like them that we lose.
You watch Chris Rock tambourine, man.
Well in reality, America was once a ruler like us.
Right? Yeah.
And they strive to develop themselves and modernization and all the amenities and all that kind of thing. So nothing wrong with us trying to do that.
But what he said about Hawaii is a fact. In Hawaii, you're going in the bank in a 3/4 cargo pants.
Yeah. Not only Hawaii, all
Did you see Chris Rock tambourine, man, his latest thing?
No, I didn't see it.
They have a section he's talk about Americans who go to Jamaica. He said when you come off the plane and you get on that shuttle, he said the reason there's hand you a strong drink when you reach the resort is what you see between the airport and he said you watching, he said, you know Chris Rock always do thing, and you watching, who does he say, boy, this reggae singer who sang,
who's that?
Shabarangs. He said, you watching Shabarangs killing a dog on the side of the on fire, children running naked. And he said, you're just watching. And he's showing you how the tourists watching through that is part of the experience. And I'm not joking. When he did that in Tambourine Man, I sure you could check the tourist board in Jamaica for the next 6 months. It got up. People want to see that. You don't want to see the same thing you have in America.
When you come off the plane in the airport, do we have a pan side plane welcoming people into the airport?
Come off the plane.
We don't have that.
You're coming through the tunnel, the big fancy tunnel.
The first thing a tourist supposed to meet when they come off the plane is steel pan. That's the first thing you're supposed to meet. Is somebody playing a steel pan.
You're supposed to see in that tall airport, you're supposed to see, what was them two? Peter Mitchell, Tantan and
Sagaboy and
Tantan.
I could agree with you on that.
That should be there. Nobody's saying that door that you're coming out of, you should be passing through Tenapan, beating little thing.
They could rotate. They could every week. They could hire a different band or a different
Pansai.
solo
Of
and
course.
rotate them for the entire year and get them work. And they make a nice
But if
piece of money
steel
in
pan
the
is your
airport.
national instrument, if doubles is your national food, it is, eh?
Well,
Doubles is your national
everybody
food.
eating doubles. Yeah.
Everybody, the only person who say no doubles is Gary Griffin, but everybody else is doubles.
I don't know why.
Of all the things he admit
I don't know why Gary don't eat doubles. Boy. Gary, I'll go doubles, man. Don't frighten.
Wait, next time he come on your show, game of doubles.
Oh, yeah. I'll bring a doubles. I'll bring doubles to breakfast.
Bring sauce to surprise him. Now, but joke and fun aside, but those things, brother, the Starbucks thing, it really upset me. I mean, if you're going to put coffee in the center of the atrium, and you're going to put hot chocolate, don't give them Starbucks. Remember them shaved chocolate you used to get when you were small, shave the chocolate, and then pour from the 2 ceramic cup? You know, remember that?
Yeah.
Well, you might want to get them Starbucks still, because remember, it's not just Americans or people who are coming to Trinidad that came from countries where there are Starbucks. So you might want to have all those things that they talk about, but you might still want to have a
But when you
Starbucks.
come out the airport,
Right?
Subway, KFC, Starbucks, everything, right there across the road. That's how it is in the world. They
Well-
don't throw aside their culture
And
to give you
put them in the
American
back.
culture and put it doubles, man. If those people don't know what to ask for, so they will never get exposed to it.
Yeah, I think I give them the option, like you say.
Yeah.
You could have the Starbucks and you could have all the little things. But I think if you come from a country where you are accustomed drinking Starbucks, that is one of the travel experiences is for people to experience things that they never experienced before.
Well, yeah.
That include food.
I was watching a show with this fellow, Anthony Bourdain, who died, right?
Yeah.
But he was talking to somebody in, I can't remember what country it was, but he said food traveling is since the food channel launched, he says since all these food shows launched, people traveling the world to see and experience all of these
All of those things, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Trinidad has-
and we have it here. Because when you talk about seasoning and taste,
Trinidad street food, second to none.
yeah.
Sauce,
Corn soup.
corn soup, but pig foot sauce. You see, again, I'm telling you, is the challenge of eating Creole or cultural food that they can't get where they are.
Look how they market Bacon Shack. Tourists believe that they had to go Maracas to get a Bacon Shack.
Yeah.
But that Bacon Shack selling all over the place and it tastes real good.
No, but it don't taste like Marcus.
Well, you're on the beach. Everything that says different on the beach, you know. Everything that says different on the beach.
You need-
Everything.
You need them 3 grain of sand.
It don't taste like Irish eggs. It don't taste like Irish
You know
eggs.
what I'm
But
saying?
you know, Richards on Arpita Avenue.
But it's good marketing.
That one don't even taste like Marcus.
You need
It's
the
good
3 grain of
marketing because if I want a Bacon Shack and I want the Bacon Shack experience, I had to go to Maracas, which is a tourist attraction as a beach. So I have 2 experiences at the same time. So it's good marketing, but I understand where you're coming from. We had to give people our flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We had to market our
We had to market
definitely.
ourselves. And nothing wrong
So
with
you
with the
be able
international.
to create that kind of our identity.
Boss man.
That's
Which
right.
is
Bossman,
We can't
is
lose
more-
our identity.
Piarco Airport. You have airport authority security guards chasing you and running you. Our vibe in Trinidad that you're telling the world that we are is a lie. We invent lying. You're supposed to come out that airport into a line.
Yeah. You see, I understand what you're talking about. If I come to Trinidad and I travel experience and thing and whatever, and we so commercialized and we so, you know, Americanized. When I go back to America, hey, your trip to Trinidad was cool, man. When I come off the into the airport, there I got Starbucks and
And you ain't saying
when you tell that to somebody, it sounds so normal. That person like, well, it didn't make no sense going to Trinidad. What going to Trinidad for? Because I can get up
Can you
here.
imagine you, man?
So, you know, you have to give
as
them
we
something
come
that they
off
can't get,
the
yeah.
plane is Baccarat.
Yeah.
If you see these people, Tassa, pan. He said, I get a beat Tassa right there. I'm a luggage on there and I beat it Tassa.
You're chipping out of the airport. Where's chipping?
God.
Chipping is a slow kind of, I kind of,
Brother, you could shut down the tourist development company and do that. That you had to do.
Nice things,
because
man.
word of mouth advertising is the strongest, most effective advertising in the world. And what he says is a fact. When you go back and you sit down in that cubicle in that office and snow falling outside, and you tell them what you just went through in Trinidad, they say, nah. They check in. They're going on orbits.com.
They see the problem is now, when they go and they do so, travel advisory, they will still not water Spain.
Come up flashing red.
So the first thing we had to fix is crime. Yeah, that's how I say it, in order for tourism to flourish.
Yeah, but Amy Brown needs to be fired. I'll tell you why Amy Brown needs to be fired. As he's not
somebody suggested him for leader of the PNM. Why not going up against Rowley?
Watch me.
Look at that.
Listen, the fella who does take out the garbage in Balize house, he named down. Everybody getting recommended because
Forrest went unchallenged, and we all know what he's facing. But we'll get to that.
You couldn't do a worse job than Rowley. But you see, the reason I say fire Amy Brown is
don't say that now.
I am the one who asked the question. Is this United States advisory just on repeat? We don't have terrorism here now. We don't have kidnapping and all that. I am the one who said that. They didn't even know to say that. You're putting out advisory and you're warning people against it. And I say every country have their crime. And I'm not saying, trust me, I'm not defending this crapo in government.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the Americans should be guided in what they're putting out.
You know, yes, out of Chicago. And Chicago are the highest crime rate in the United States of America. They don't put out advisory saying, when they come into America, stay out of Chicago. But I think nobody didn't inform them that Alexander running Port of Spain now. I think that's what.
Which one are the Alexander? The fix-it man or
the strong man Alexander. I don't think they informed them. If they knew that, maybe they would not put on the advisory.
He works to chase law-abiding people. He can't deal with criminals. His job is to panic law-abiding people. That again is circle back
intimidate.
Circle back to that one.
Intimidation.
Does he tell people on that show, boy, see that you
that man is just a clown. I mean,
no, but you cannot do that. You can't be telling people we go deal with all you. You are not a licensed thug. You are talking to the very people on whose power you have a job.
Yeah.
It is on their power, first of all. Under the Constitution, it is them, the Constitution, that because of the people, it is it is of the people, us.
Yeah.
It is because of them there is a Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. It's on their constitution. There's a law that creates a Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and the taxpayers that pay your salary, you cannot terrorize them. You have to protect and serve them, no matter which political party they choose to support and rally around. And you see this nonsense law that you have to get permission to protest in this country. That law has to be struck down. In the United States of America, Donald Trump was president one day, and Kathy Griffin, that's her name, the comedian, went on the Million Woman March with a beheaded head of Donald Trump, and that was broadcast on all networks. That doesn't mean go out and behead the president. It means this is free speech. In Trinidad, we have the opposite of free speech. They're pressing the courts into silencing people from speaking freely in this country. And now the police service is using intimidating Gestapo tactics. And that cannot be tolerated.
Well, listen, don't get too worked up about it. They have a woman now acting as the commissioner for the acting commissioner. So they put a woman touch, a little woman touch on it, a little gentle mother's touch. Although the papers was wrong, they said she was the first woman to do it.
Who was the first?
This Ulla Christopher.
Who was the
first female? No, it had a woman in 2014 under Williams. Who acted for as Commissioner of Police when Williams wasn't here.
Yeah, I think
so. I don't know how the papers could get it wrong unless they just wanted to excite the situation.
The first since the Bacchanal.
Well,
because now everything to do with the commissioner is Bacchanal.
Yeah, but I mean the police service themselves had to understand. I mean, and I think some of the protesters mentioned that all that happened, when we wasn't here, when we had the 1 week off. They must understand. They must understand, and I think some of the protesters said it right. They said, listen, all you have to understand, we out here for you too. We're not out here for us alone. We're out here for you too. You facing a 4% increase that really no increase, and after for 8
That is
years,
it.
we out here
The
for you.
police going to rely on those same people in the public to stand with them to get them.
Yeah,
because
we ain't coming
police
to
can
bond down
protest.
Port of Spain. We coming to
Okay, so I was going to talk about this
Have
and
a voice
stick up
heard.
in because when he spoke, and I know he threw that in Fuad Abu Bakr God. Now I never forgive Abu Bakr because Abu Bakr never apologized. So to his very end, I have held that Abu Bakr should have been convicted and dealt with under the law.
For treason.
But I want to know, has Fuad Abu Bakr ever been convicted of anything that you know of?
No, not that I know.
I don't know.
So the sins of the father falling on that boy.
Apparently,
Because they have some very heavy drug importers in this country whose sons driving Porsche and Range Rover in the country. Why the sins of those fathers not falling on them? And I want to ask, I'm not defending nobody. I just don't like injustice.
nah.
I don't like injustice.
I mean-
you can't call the boy a terrorist if he was never in nothing.
I thought we should have him on the show next week.
That's your call.
We could have him on the show.
I want to
Who
say...
call him a terrorist?
It is when he put out his video supporting the march that Mr. Man seemed
Strong
to have
man.
ramped up and talk about he's seeing certain people doing videos. I put 2 and 2 together because nobody ain't calling nobody name. But I just wanted to know because I see in the papers they fight.
He's just another clown in the government clown show, you know. Alexander, you know.
Yeah.
I don't take you. I don't even know. I turn off my TV.
I don't like to talk about it because his
them
name
two
too
clowns
close to
will be
mine.
on
They
TV.
still wearing a mask.
Yeah, them.
I think they removed the glass though.
Them.
They were doing a show. They were doing the show, right? They doing a, imagine this, This is the level of stupidity that exists today on television. They doing a show. It have a glass in front of them. It have a piece of glass separating them, and both of them have on a mask.
Yeah.
So I want to know, and then Mark stay safe to the front. Well, brother man, if that is safe, I go choose danger any day.
They were selling
I'm telling
stupidity.
you.
They're selling stupidity, and that's it.
That's what I'm saying. They selling nonsense. And it's the same thing that you say, you don't take him on.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't take him on.
most people don't take them on.
And
I
here
mean,
you are
that's a clown
Yeah?
show.
And here you all had COVID.
No.
You had COVID.
Not
Listen,
to my knowing. I probably get it and didn't know.
You know
This is so
what? I
common.
don't even want to talk about that in light of everything else. And I just want to bring to a close what I was just saying. The country never got closure on 1990.
Yeah.
Never got closure on 1990.
I think so too.
But I don't think until they demonstrate themselves to be anything but law-abiding people that Baka children shouldn't be treated differently just because of who their father was.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think that should be the case.
I agree with
And I'm
that.
saying that. I don't want to saddle horse and ride for people and carry anything for nobody. I'm just saying, let us be a society that is equal for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's make sure Goodwood Park and Laventille Hill could say they enjoy the same treatment under the law and every organization or state.
Yeah.
That's where we need to be.
But that wouldn't happen.
But we need to make that happen, brother. You can't say that. So
And I like
That wouldn't happen under the present administration.
Sunshine
or-
Snacks renting a set of 4 billboards. Well, what's the parent company? Because sometimes it's Sunshine Snacks, sometimes it is Associated Brands. Renting 4 billboards
Thanks,
on the
Anibab.
freeway. Thanks to people walking in the street.
I can see plenty of the product, boy.
You know, well, yeah, you want to Google. They say that they don't have that the Muslims don't have control of that extra piece of land where those billboards are. So I want to know who Associated Brands pay the rent to.
2. Okay.
These are questions that I get in my head when things are said in the public. Again, I don't like injustice. I don't like it at all. I think a lot of what has happened in Trinidad and Tobago, what brought us here to today, is a lot of injustice on momentum and too much of it. And when people could sit down and say, well, your side do that and your side do that and that side and this one, it comes to the point where the average person must look at the entire government, parliament and system of state and governance in this country and wonder, so they have no good people in this thing, boy? Nobody you can trust.
Yeah. I mean, have anybody we could trust?
The good people seem to be quiet. They ain't saying anything.
Why? But then they can't be good people.
Well, exactly. Bad things happen when good people stay quiet.
Stay quiet.
Hey, write that down. That is a very accurate statement to make, and I have never heard that. It's close to, but I like that. Bad things happen when good people stay quiet.
As you touch on the constitution and everything, I just want to segue into the Al Rawi situation here. Because I think this should be a major concern for any taxpayer in the country, right?
I'm telling you.
Based on what an indemnity means, and based on his constitutional powers or lack thereof in granting such.
Now he have a jail term.
So let me just look at this thing.
I like how the DPP stay clear.
He said, you see the letter?
You read that letter?
Say, brother man,
how we stay clear.
The DPP write that in a way to say, bro,
You on your own with that
shit
shit.
where you're going, I'm not there with you. They had no full support.
Get a shovel and shovel your shit alone.
Yeah.
I will not help you shovel your shit at all.
If he's not
If you get a
bad
letter like
from
that.
being an attorney, I mean,
And you know,
the thing is,
If you
Go
get
ahead,
a
go
letter
ahead.
like that from the DPP, you wouldn't back
because I want to make a point just
The-
before you
the-
say what you're saying, right? You know, first we think in this country, it have certain things that Gaspard decisions that he's made in the past or some certain things that people find dragging, and they will say he's a P&M. You understand? And in this case now, a lot of the people will say that, and it's just the culture. They're saying, I like that DPP.
No, you
So I
don't.
want them to remember the good time, the decisions that he make that
Well, remember
you
that
could
decision
say
was
what-
made a long time. Maybe you just knowing about that. That was made a while
No,
ago.
brother,
Right.
That
But-
letter
but he said-
suggests that the DPP is saying to the Attorney General,
You're on your own.
not
You're
only
your
you
own.
on your own, we are not on a correct path.
Exactly.
I cannot support this. If I as DPP cannot support it, I have to now keep my eye on it because you could be breaking the law.
Exactly. But the thing is, I
look at me.
I mean, it's really surprising.
I find Faris
That-
getting whiter by
I
the
find he look
day.
like Bert from
He don't
Sesame
go in the
Street there in
sun.
a suit.
Yeah.
He used to
Yeah.
be grayer, his hair get blacker.
The
nose
thing
get
is, you
straighter.
allow two men to get away scot-free. Them fellas, nothing they going to come out, nothing they happen with that.
Yeah, although the
That
current
ain't going
Attorney
nowhere.
General trying to say otherwise, but
No,
last I
but
checked, the DPP discharge.
Listen,
But
you can't bribe a man to give evidence in nothing. I mean, any lawyer who just come out of law school will know that.
But not only
Right?
that, Faris said in that
You think
press
it-
conference, it wasn't his idea, he was advised.
Who
by
advised
two
him?
he said Mendes and Peterson, the two senior counsels.
They told him that it was
Douglas,
okay.
Mendes and Peterson, look at me in
Yeah.
but look at me in the paper saying he took the advice from Mendes and Peterson.
to pay the inducement.
He said he was advised. Now, this is the thing with the Express article. The Express headline saying Faris saying it wasn't him, he was advised. But when you read the article, the indemnity wasn't his idea, he was advised. That's the headline.
What Mendes and them saying?
He said that he took advice from Mendes and they, as it relates to bringing the issue to the authorities, to the attention of the authorities.
He didn't
right?
publish that letter.
No, my thing is this, right? My thing is this. Either way, there is a constitution. The Attorney
Before you go
General...
further. Before you go further, he have to publish that advice now, you know. Because if he is, all he did was pull them into his conspiracy.
That's right.
Mendes and Peterson have to now stand up and clear the air. Because all Faris said was, it's not just me do this crocus bag of ass. It's me, Mendes and Peterson. And that different thing.
And look, up to
And them getting millions.
Up to
By
5
the way.
hours ago, reported by the Newsday, the two local senior counsel who advised former Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi on the written indemnity agreement with Vincent Nelson in exchange for information on alleged corrupt legal brief deals with former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan and ex-UNC Senator Gerald Ramlin are tight-lipped on the now controversial affair. So
So
No,
now,
well, they can't say they didn't because, I mean, they're getting more brief.
Faris said,
They're getting
Thank
more
you.
brief.
Faris said
So
they have a thing called-
somebody had to go along for that.
somebody...
Faris say they have a thing called tipping off. So I don't want to tip nobody off. But I want the DPP to say, is he now investigating all of these players for what took place? If it reached to the point where you as the Director of Public Prosecutions had to discontinue the proceedings,
Who paying them millions? Which taxpayer paying the millions?
Exactly. Nelson suing the state for 12 point something million pounds, you know.
Trinidadians don't care.
Now listen, my
paying
thing
that
is this.
guy?
My thing is this.
Trinidadians say, but come and take take my money.
While it
I
is-
will vote for that again.
pay-
Right, but
for that
while it is understandable that an attorney general could take advice or would seek advice from senior counsel,
Yeah.
right? Because we know Al-Rawi is an incompetent lawyer, so he would have to seek advice.
Well, he makes
However-
up furlough with layoff.
Right, but
You remember
however,
that?
exactly.
Remember
However,
that? Furlough and
Al-Rawi as the
layoff.
attorney general is the advisor to the legal advisor to the cabinet and the head of the bar. And under the constitution, he has certain powers, and then he doesn't have certain powers. If you're attorney general, the one thing you're supposed to know inside out is your powers as it relates to the constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. So even if you take advice, even if you're offered advice, like Phillip could advise me, Stephan, the next speeding car coming across Park Street, run out in the middle of the road. I go take the advice. I'll turn to Phillip and ask him if he's a madman.
No, but you know what you...
Because he's trying to kill me.
You know what you're making me think now?
So.
You know what you're making me think? We didn't understand the whole kakada when Faris was fired. Everything else...
I was coming to that. I was coming to that. Because it was in October of 2021 when the DPP was asked publicly about the indemnity deal, and he said he don't know nothing about that. Faris was fired when? When that shuffle take place? Could we remember? I feel when
Well,
that
I guess-
popped up,
I
they
guess-
realized that the fire coming.
I guess Rowley and them couldn't hold on to that hot platinum for long enough again.
No, but what
Because remember they said in local government, they were at the bottom of the barrel
He
ministries.
was never getting that ministry. Faris was just being fired. But Faris was going to have a press conference.
Exactly.
People said that Faris tell the cabinet he not going down alone. Because all of them have bodies buried in town. So Faris was going and put information in the public space. We went through this already. With
Yes.
Ramsey.
But I understand he leaked some information. It was alleged that he leaked the information on
Foster.
Foster.
But Clarence Rambarat, you forget the amount of information Clarence Rambarat put in the public space in
And then get
124-hour
silent.
period. They silence him about bank and doctor and millions and fake mortgage and fake deed in the Ministry of Legal Affairs. You forget all that? All that was said by government ministers at the time. And Clarence quit the work and was going to hug up his wife. He was missing his wife. I don't know what they give him to make him forget about his wife. Because he said, that was what he said.
In less than a week. That's typical of a husband.
Clarence has been real bad.
I miss my wife, he gone out for 2 days.
No, Clarence-
Okay, I gotta get away from you now.
I just hit him all the stickers.
So you know, but because I like to bring it down to reality for the small man.
Go ahead, bring it on, man.
You
bring it
know,
on.
all of this, right? And you're still going to line up and jump on one another to vote for the PNM boy, and the UNC boy.
I don't think so. I think it's a different time. But I want to tell you this: what he just said, when that press conference happened, when Faris was fired, Faris' mother calmed Faris down.
I remember that, yes. He was going on try a spoiled child kind of...
Diane Sukaran
Yeah.
is the one who all over Facebook posting this is a beautiful appointment. What kind of nonsense?
Yeah.
All of it is foolish talk now. Because what we're realizing now is that blew up then, and the government thought that the best way to handle it is fire this man
Take me
and
background.
put somebody there who could clean up this mess. This man Armour
Forgetful
have
Jones.
too much positions on something that just happened. He had too much thing. You know what I just say? He put out a thing. I screenshot this. I want to tell you his exact words because this is madness. This is we reach Alice in Wonderland, you know. The man say,
He said it's not over.
but I keep this.
He had no powers. at
This
the
last
time.
paragraph.
DPP discontinued.
This
matter.
last part, forget everything else that was in that release.
Yeah.
And you see how the opposition leader Jambo, she said, she and all. You're a damn liar. You put that in a
Yeah, she
opposition
put that in
release.
a. She put that in a
All
release.
of them lost. Watch me, the chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah.
But hear what Armour, just above his signature, put. As Attorney General, I wish to assure the people of this country that I will consider every available avenue to protect the public's interests,
yeah.
including but not limited to, in brackets. And come back to but not limited to in brackets, because that attract the attention of the Director of Public Prosecutions, because he just strayed constitutionally. He doesn't have the authority. But wait. Civil proceedings to recover any possible proceeds of the crimes allegedly committed by Messrs. Ramlogan and Ramdeen, and disciplinary proceedings before the disciplinary committee of the legal profession. He just defamed. Forget everything else that they are accused of. They are convicted of nothing.
Exactly.
That is defamatory from the Attorney General. All these people do it is, you know, they say, they say this idiot has hit rock bottom and started dig. Like what they're doing. Because all they're doing is, if I'm Ramlogan office, all I hear is ka-ching,
ka-ching, ka-ching. And you know you track record with malicious prosecution. That is one of the best.
That is exactly what
one of the best.
That is exactly what
prosecution case. You going to face off Ramlogan and Ramdeen and whatever dream team they put together, because now they're coming for you.
They're coming for you.
You send 13 police car to lock up the man. You hold him in that police station for 7
You can remember the lady housekeeper, Ramlogan housekeeper, the police.
They had to find out kind of document to get the man out. They didn't then get food. You do him what you want. You know what I say? Make sure the toes you stepping on today not connected to the ASEAN kiss tomorrow. These fellas, this is what they do. This is not what Reginald Armour does. He is famous for this.
Yeah.
Ramdeen and Ramlogan famous for this.
Yes, yeah.
This is the trend. They're going to paint a masterpiece. They're going to pitch me.
What Heinz famous for?
Having our dreadlocks. I don't know having our ass. Is it parliamentary
I
Rastafari?
call people Bachak, and I asked this man,
Yeah.
the smiles.
Bachak.
What are you doing calling people Bachak? You ugly in the dark. You can't have the audacity to be calling people names.
The man say, this is, Heinz is really...
A woman tell
Heinz,
Heinz.
something wrong with this man.
A woman tell Heinz, she said, at least when I wake up in the morning, I can stretch and look in my mirror. You know, I'll sneak up on yours. You know, it is a whole long in the mirror because I don't run.
Oh God, hey.
That man, something just covered that man mouth.
He have a wife?
The man started by saying, you could take a taxi and go to Mount Hope and get a triple bypass surgery.
But Rowley going foreign for people.
And the next one, coffee went again.
No,
oh God.
Rowley saying not staying in Trinidad for people to push their hand up the ass. Remember that?
Man used to fly off to Cuba. I mean, Cuba is top, but I mean, he's
a married man.
I think he
married.
Does he have a wife?
Yeah, I think he is.
Who would do that? I don't know a woman or a man for that matter.
I'm done. Then watch me.
Are you mad?
Them vows the priest.
Are you mad?
The priest. The woman say I do. The priest. You sure?
Who would do that? Who would commit such an act?
Listen.
Hey,
were there inducements paid in that wedding?
What we drinking today, boy? Barman, give me a mixed drink. This punching thing. This punching thing I okay.
That's serious, not that's serious.
But you watch the people come out to do their protest. They come by the last honest Indian house, and you calling the people
Who's the last
Bachak.
honest Indian house?
Rohan says the last honest Indian.
Oh.
You calling the people Bachak. And I watch a picture of this man and he look like something that could be acting in a bug's life. And I wonder how you have the audacity to say this.
And the man they kick water on the beater. The man, I don't know, but that the most...
And he went and report the man.
Yeah.
For kicking water
for kicking water on him. That the most petty. Yeah, nah. Look at him there. Look at him, watch him.
Look! Calling people
He
Bachak.
must be now done sucky thumb there. Yeah, he like a little child.
But joke and fun
like
aside. Joke and fun aside. I want to go back to
But
this.
come back to the seriousness of the
raised
situation.
this. But you raised this.
And I hear Nelson in Italy, so they can't
And
But
they can't compel
he on his way out.
Yeah,
They can't check
they
me.
can't compel he to come back. I mean,
They can't do it, they can't do it.
Whether or not they could or not, Nelson is sure to survive the trial. He know that. He riddled with cancer. Is cancer he dying from?
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
This is the point I want to make. You have people who have you dead to rights for malicious prosecution. Because what it is sounding like, and again I want to say this, you have an over-eager, underqualified Attorney General, Faris Al-Rawi, who want to stack the odds in the state's favor, may have broken the law.
Yeah.
And he
And
is
wouldn't be the first
pulling
time.
in two renowned senior counsels, Mendes and Peterson, and you are saying to the public, you've said it.
Most likely I'm on the cabinet too, eh?
Wait, I'm on rich late. But you're saying,
Not true.
you're saying
Cabinet.
that these fellas tell you that is the way to go. They have to answer that question.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this, they're going to answer those questions in a court of law, whether the DPP prosecute or not, because Ram Logan and Ram Dean
They're not gonna let
not
arrest.
taking that.
You see-
And there is civil, criminal
But you see,
procedures.
Pamela Elder, when they interviewed her in the media after the DPP discussion, she said, "This is not over."
No. This
This
is
is only beginning.
this is a gross miscarriage of justice.
Yeah,
And
that's craziness.
I am not pronouncing on the innocence or guilt of Ram Logan and Ram Dean. I can't. The matter is now.
It's still alleged.
It will forever be alleged.
But to your Attorney General Amor, but he is threatening as if he has conclusions, even though
By
he
next
knows.
week, he'll go forget he said that.
Brother,
He forget us one affidavit, he go forget he said that
brother,
next
he
week.
might forget.
But
He
he
reached in
won't.
Miami to prosecute his clients. Hey, and we used to pay you. That is what went on. The judge said, "No man, come on, you're joking. Come. Throw them out of the court." That's what he did. He threw them out of the court. He threw out the company they was working with. He threw everybody out.
But you have to remember too, eh? Let me just put a little history to this, eh? You remember the situation with Petruccian and Malcolm Jones that Ram Logan was pursuing
Yeah.
under the advice of Nelson.
Discontinued.
And Nelson say, yes, you have a case, go behind them. And then government change.
And the same Nelson said discontinued.
And the Nelson in one line, because the Privy Council was like, but how you could change a decision, reverse a decision to pursue this matter on such short advice? Al-Rawi again is the one who take this
so
advice.
Is Nelson still a King's Counsel?
Well, I see they referring to him as a King's Counsel, but I heard
Was he
that,
this
that
bad?
he was, I think, they don't want to
Because
party.
he
I think he was this bad.
admitted criminal wrongdoing and was convicted.
Yes, I
That's
think,
all.
yeah, but I
So
don't know how they
that
refer to him as
that
King's
is grounds to
Counsel.
disbarment.
Yeah, I think so.
British Accreditation Register, which is
and
bad.
he was fined. The only thing you don't have to pay it.
Well, apparently, don't worry about the fine. We go pay that for you too.
Yes.
That is being alleged.
Yeah, yeah.
Faris can't be sleeping easy
So-
in the
so
night.
I-
And watch me when you dig a hole for people. Careful if you don't fall in that same hole. Careful them same 13 police car don't pull up outside Nahu's house.
Yeah.
Plain talk.
And I mean, look, outside of that, we had Imbut situation too. We have had breaches of the separation of powers on
Stick
so
up
many
in. Come back here.
occasions.
Armour needs to be fired. Al-Rawi needs to be fired. This is where you are, you know.
Right.
Reginald Armour, by his release, has caused disquiet. I'm using the words that they use in it for the Director of Public Prosecutions. You have brought the entire justice system now
Into dispute.
Into the
dispute. This you cannot as Attorney General argue with the Director of Public Prosecution. This is
Yeah.
the way you did.
Yeah.
And when you put not limited to in brackets,
You do that in court, you get contempt of court.
boss, he is telling the public, ignore the DPP. That is what not limited to in brackets mean. That he know what he doing. This is a serious. We're coming back to all the rest of them that need to
Yeah.
be fired. But in the justice part of the thing, Faris and Amo should be gone. If this was a real country, by tonight.
Yeah.
But if it was a
tonight-
real country, Amma would have been gone since if you asked for the affidavit.
yeah, but
Yeah.
He would not last longer than the Red House fire.
but they had ways to excuse that.
Yeah.
But this,
Bad memory.
my partner BC
You could- you
Paris use
could-
a word fire truck.
clearly, them guys rogue. I mean, you can't be doing all trying to circumvent the rules just to bring down.
I was trying to call Wayne Sturge to
party.
come on this. I was trying to call Wayne
Huh?
Sturge to come
Yeah.
on the
Nah,
show
nah,
because
I mean-
Wayne Sturge put out a post.
He was one of the attorneys too.
Yeah, but Sturge put out a post, and I had seen that, but Sturge put out a post today asking, where is the effing Law Association?
I was about to ask you that. Why hasn't the Law Association put out a statement on this?
Because, listen, and I said to Sturge on his post, I said, what is being exposed for Trinidad to see now is the incestuous relationship and tribal politics that exists in every organization in this country. Everything is stacked and political. Everything. So
and you
now,
paying at the end?
the taxpayers.
The
same
taxpayers.
taxpayers. That thing ketchup and mustard represents them.
Exactly. The taxpayers will take a taxi and or walk, take a donkey cart. That is the same taxpayers who are paying for it.
I put out in the public space yesterday, Singapore, 170% of their economy is GDP. In Trinidad, our budget, 60 to 80% of our gross domestic product is debt. Debt. We owe in everybody. Trinidadians not realizing when they talk about it, we have no grand source of income. When Japan says that they're running 130% debt to GDP ratio, Japan overheating their economy deliberately because they know they have the 14th or 15th largest economy on the planet and they could drive money when they need it. Trinidad have not, what we gonna sell? Batuks peanut butter? Where our economy turning around on? The $30 billion, that is the recurrent expenditure of Trinidad and Tobago, that is all of them. We talked about this 2 shows ago. All of them bills that you just pay, but you don't explain to the people why you're paying them rents, why you're paying them salaries, what you expect to get as profit from it. You're not explaining.
All the renting empty buildings and all that kind of thing to
$30
benefit
billion. I work it
your
out.
friends.
When you build a building now in Trinidad from scratch, between $500 to $800 a square foot. When you pull up on an empty piece of land, grass, dirt, whatever, and you're gonna build something from scratch, between $500 and $800 a square foot. You know what we spend on the red house? $5,000 a square foot. We spend $5,000 a square foot. When you build a building, the roof and the foundation have significant parts to play. The columns and the beams that hold up the building, those are significant costs. The red house had foundation, beams, columns, floors, roof, walls. How did we end up for a renovation, spend $5,000 a square foot, and there is no professional organization in this country, no contractors association, no members of any professional body to say, but this is insane. You cannot do that to the taxpayers, because everybody stand up in a line, break off peace for me.
Yeah, that's what it
Break off
is.
peace for me. Your silence is being bought, or you are afraid of the government. It's one of the two. You're afraid of victimization. There are plenty of professionals. Stephen, man, I respect the trade that you are in, for the fact that you stand up and speak so patriotically, knowing that you risk losing government work because of the field that you're in.
I do work for
But I'm just saying, when you find out that sandals come down and they're looking for a man, they want to pay him a little 500 million, you lose out on that. Because they can say, no, he's not a, you understand? He ain't there to break off peace for them. I don't want to overstate this, we the people allow all this to become our reality.
Yeah, that's true. I see, by the way, in addition to what going on with David, and Nakeda just announced in the parliament that the Prime Minister is before the Anti-Corruption Bureau now, under investigation. He just announced that, he announced in the parliament a little
On a
bit.
special branch.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, I said it for Welch.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Is that
we
part
are
of the
good.
special branch?
But I was saying, I don't, well, boy, I send you the clip with Naked there. But whenever you load it up, you'll let us know. In the meantime, we're just coming back to some of the things that we were mentioning, we'll just come back to. Imbut was found to have acted unlawful. Just last week, Munilal announced that Imbut say, hey, I appeal in this matter, so
He
this
put
like,
himself on a board.
He put himself on a board to deny somebody the
To
position of commissioner of the
deliberately deny
BIR.
somebody a position and skip somebody else. Like what going on? You following what going on in the National Lotteries Control Board?
Oh, yeah, that.
You know what going on?
I understand the chairman of that board, the NLCB on that board, 4 or 5 different boards.
Listen,
Is the
a
chairman
next case of
is it-
skipping over the duly rightful duly person who's supposed to, and bringing in an outsider.
Yeah. Outsider who
That
is
can
not
be very-
even. I think that position cannot be held, could only be held by somebody who is from the statutory authority.
And they breaking that law.
And they're breaking that law.
And that coming from him, but
Right?
have yourself a Merry
So,
Christmas.
so I think the
brother.
chairman, and the chairman
Yes,
of that board,
Yeah.
and him both, they're circumventing rules.
But NLCB, you ever hear NLCB protest? NLCB workers, that get lost and all the back
But
of
that whole board always been political.
No, but NLCB workers protesting this. You cannot circumvent the rules that govern a statutory body like that. NLCB is one.
They said they have the clip ready. We getting audio with it? Yeah. Alright. Just 1 minute, David Nakin clip from in the parliament, and we'll come back to the discussion as we're talking about all these situations with Imbut and his misconduct, Rawi misconduct. We know the Prime Minister with his misconduct, with the meritless for the position of Commissioner of Police.
Hines for being stupid.
And play with the clip, let me have a Nakin say.
I would like to declare here, Mr. Vice President, to the public of Trinidad and Tobago, that I have been brought before the Anti-Corruption Bureau to question the Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley for his misbehavior in public office. He is now under official investigation. That is correct, Mr. Vice President. I know too from them that they have also questioned other witnesses, and if they would like to speak, that is up to them. So we have a sitting Prime Minister who the Anti-Corruption Bureau is looking into his misbehavior in public office.
Alright. So you're saying that he might have said bad?
You know what I want?
But
I want the details.
Yeah.
Because what he is saying, not adding up. That he is brought before the Anti-Corruption Investigative Bureau.
To question Rowley.
Yeah.
And Rowley on the investigation.
What I
So
think
I'm
he
trying to
is
figure
saying is that, you know, tongue-in-cheek, is that he is
The one that
placing
referring him.
referring Dr. Rowley.
He referring him to the
But you
Anti-Corruption
see
Bureau.
what was written at the bottom of the screen? What was
Opposition
written?
senator brought before
Brought before,
Anti-Corruption.
yeah.
Yeah, so it confusing.
But referring somebody to something and being brought before something is two different things.
Yeah.
So I want to get the details of
Gotta
that
get the details on that.
before
But
I speak further.
that's circulated
But-
on social media and the WhatsApp groups in a big way this afternoon.
Brother man, no, saying something political, you know, I was trying to avoid talking from a political point of view.
Yeah.
If the opposition wasn't so weak, that government fall today.
But that's what the NACTA poll say. That's a nice segue into the NACTA poll. No, it is. Let me get to the NACTA poll. Because the NACTA poll said, you have it on your phone? You have it?
You
Okay.
take that, man.
The NACTA poll said that even with the discourse and the lack of popularity of the current PNM administration, that, and from here we're going into the internal, that if an election was called today, the PNM would still win.
Why you
Because the
giving-
opposition is seen
Why are you
as
giving
as
him
weak.
credibility when Priya Bihari today rubbished Vishnu Ram, whatever his name is, an actor? Priya
No, I'm
Bihari-
not giving him. I'm not giving him.
I want that report to mean the same thing that it meant in Tobago.
Priya Bihari asked the man some questions. Do you have a website? Well, we didn't have a website then, and we don't think we need one now. But you are the North American Caribbean Teachers Association, and you're doing polls, and you don't have a web presence. You don't have a social media presence. This man is a joker. He just pick up something that people leave behind that wasn't working anymore, and through Newsday, through Chantak, and Newsday,
But you see,
he get to publish his polls.
so you see, the thing is this is what is selling, eh? You see what the media is selling. Right, look at here, look at the picture of him here. NACTA poll, PNM will win general election easily if called soon.
That's what he said about
I don't know if he's trying to rope Rowley and him into calling an election. I don't know, maybe they might see this and say, let me call an election, NACTA so you win.
Well, supposing that is one of them things, like how they just hire these people in Ukraine to say that Trinidad people is the happiest people in the world. What is the best country to visit?
That's probably the poll Karen Tishara Nunes probably saw and decided to
And decide to run.
tell
Well,
she
but this is what he
that
said.
probably
Despite
wouldn't.
public discontent with the People's National Movement, the party will handily win.
Rubbish, Sheena.
Wait, hold on. Will handily win a general election if called soon. A North, I read it from the Guardian article, CNC3, your friend and them. A North American Caribbean Teachers Association opinion poll has found, according to the study by Dr. Vishnu Bisram, the PNM has the advantage because the public does not view the opposition United National Congress as an alternative government. Now, stick up in there. I'm going into a different thing here by, right, the UNC. Immediately, I tell you, you can't get away from this. You know. The United National Congress now released a statement, or they put out a release stating, let us end this NACTA charade. It is an open secret that the so-called NACTA organization quite transparently appears to be nothing more than the mercenary identity of Dr. Vishnu Bisram, ready to create so-called polls to suit the agenda of whomever is paying him. Now hold on. I go into a group that are in called Workers' Right. Workers' Right, somebody posted, once again, NACTA polls the PNM and UNC as if they were the only choices when the entire country is screaming neither of them is a choice. But that's what happens when you use a pollster disconnected from Trinidad and Tobago, framing the questions in the narrowest of confines to extract a desired result. So,
talk done.
This is a citizen posting in a group here saying, but why you only polling on two political parties when you have more than two that exist?
I would like to see the elements of the poll, you know?
Yes.
That is what's the question you ask?
Yes, exactly.
Kirk Nego asked those questions after me, but I asked him. I said 3 questions. Nobody polls just for polling's sake. Do not lie to me. If you have a website, you're not generating advertising revenue. You're not getting click-through revenue. So what are you doing it for? You're bored? You're living in New York. They have so much thing to do in New York. But you're going to poll Trinidad for free? You're lying. You're lying to people. Somebody is paying you. Who is paying you? No.
The one-man NACTA team.
Why he not polling Ukraine? Why not Poland, Ukraine? Why not Poland, Finland? Why Trinidad? He's not even from Trinidad. He's from Guyana. He's from Guyana. So I'm telling you this. This is the end of NACTA. This is the end because prior behind you. Ask this man some questions and the man answer. And it sounds like
I thought a more logical poll would have been holding into the election in PNM. The bad poll a general election, yes. PNM now realize the poll a general election.
What are the questions? What are the criteria of the poll? What are you asking people? Nobody in Trinidad know anybody who's ever been contacted by NACTA. So he must be telling people.
Machination, probably
But he has to do that type of
results and selling it.
Was the man used to previously poll the poll results? Nigel Henry or something. So yeah, but we never know who the hell they poll.
Man, you have to know. This is, and he telling prior in the first world countries polls are a normal thing. Yes, but for you to be a pollster with credibility, you have to be showing your work. Show us what you're asking, who you are asking it to. A 33% of housewives between 40 and 60 in this district.
Exactly.
You just get that breakdown. 520 people.
Exactly.
He says he's polled 500.
But you see,
how you get these people?
My thing is, right? We're supposed to be in a position right now in the country amongst the population, where the population, I think, can see for themselves. Like I tell a man today, I said, let me ask you something. If a political party comes into power and they throw 10, 20 allegations of corruption, misconduct, whatever, against their opponent, and while they're in office and they enter their second term, they haven't been able to stick one yet, at what point does the population stop and say, well, maybe the right choice was the wrong choice? And maybe we need to reassess.
Well, I want to say this.
How we approach.
You remember
an election to elect our leaders.
This whole thing that you just did, when you spoke about Armour in Miami.
Yeah.
You have to remember that the co-conspirators, let us not forget this, confessed to the conspiracy and were jailed in America to the Piaco Bacchanal. Y'all remember that?
Right?
Yeah.
That means that this is not just allegation. The fact that we mishandle everything here, the fact that we spent $200 million, they say, trying to prosecute Asian Steve. You spent $200 million chasing $1 billion. So now we in the whole 1.2 and we know closer to getting money back. But the fellas, Guterres and them went to jail. They pay back the money, all kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's
Correct, yeah. But you see my point
and
is,
that's what begat Section 24 and all of that drama.
If people have not noticed that
Clearly, we have
they
a flawed justice system.
They have created a multi-million-dollar feeding frenzy within the justice system.
Both UNC and
It is,
TNM.
yes, it is of course, it is the biggest corruption to me. It's bigger than the contractors.
But you see,
it's bigger than contractors.
you see, you have to dig into this. And when we were the Candlelight Movement and we called for a commission of inquiry into the criminal justice system, we knew what we were doing. In fact, we should get a commission of inquiry into the entire justice system now. Because a judge reads what is put before them, right? So if you could manipulate what reaches before the judge, there could only be so many outcomes. The judge can't create an outcome. The judge can't create evidence. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Judgments have to be based on what took place at trial or what took place in the proceedings. And you have to, both sides have a responsibility to pursue. I remember there was a $600 million cocaine bust in Trinidad.
Monas Island.
Monas Island. And there was a trial. And if you read that judgment, the judge asked some questions at the end and said, why wasn't this done? Why wasn't this person questioned? Why? The judge was actually pointing out all of at least serious shortcomings and flaws in the whole case, in the investigation, in the prosecution, that looked like it went only so high and it didn't go higher.
Yeah. So the judge limited in his scope as to what he could do.
Because
Because he had to go beyond, he can't go beyond the law.
You see, my thing
So
is,
I don't want to blame the judiciary. I mean, there will always be people in the world who are beholden to other people for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that our justice system does not work.
and I'm saying, just along the lines of, the reason why I bring this up, right, this whole racket, this whole circle of corruption that taking place within the legal fraternity. These are the people that's supposed to be responsible for justice, for people getting justice. And we just mentioned it there in the situation with Al-Rawi, Mendez, Peterson, Nelson. Where is the law association?
You are not getting
and
lawyers.
everybody is holding their tongue because why?
Exactly.
State briefs. Everybody wants
Not just state briefs. Not just
because
state
everybody.
They have two sides. They have state briefs and they have victimization, and that's a real thing.
Right. So everybody want to feed.
Who do you complain to? This is where the taxpayers get involved.
You saw that thing I sent you, the gentleman
just
from...
let me ask this question.
Which
this is where the taxpayers get involved. Who do you complain to? I have heard a judge say that the appeals process is the process that corrects the justice system. But that is not true. The appeals process comes at a cost. You have to be able to afford to pay a lawyer to appeal. And you risk losing and being awarded costs against you too. In no other situation do you have that you could be punished for trying to raise an issue about wrongdoing. That something is wrong. Who do you complain to in the Trinidad and Tobago when the justice system,
like how we have a police complaints authority. Right, yeah. Who do you complain? Okay.
When you do not get justice, there are a lot of things that if there was a commission of inquiry into the justice system, you see, if people were given immunity to testify, that they no longer could be held in contempt of court.
Immunity, yeah, people, not indemnity. Go ahead.
A lot of things would happen. Stephan, we had a situation with the Andrea Barrett case, where one man was said to have had 70 charges and was outside.
I was outside.
There are plenty people in the jail on one charge, Kakabot. That is two examples of the system not working.
Yeah.
I use the Stephens and Johnson's break-in judgment as an example all the time. Because when that case was done, my son was 20 years old and he was alive in a world that never had a Stephens and Johnson's. But the case kept running. Just to have it on the docket is a cost to the taxpayers. Understand what I'm saying?
Understand what you're saying?
It's a cost of both sides.
No, but it's a cost to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what the taxpayers pay in the prosecution and the taxpayers pay in the court.
The court,
Yeah.
yeah.
What happening on the defense side is for the defense. But all the costs are borne by the taxpayers. When you look at our $25,000 to $29,000 a month cost to hold a prisoner, that's the cost to hold one. That's not the cost to transport them back and forth between courts. So if you have a man that you hold him for a year, $360,000, and then you spend about $50,000 moving him around, $400,000 is the cost per year, and he thief for sneakers.
So it costing us
But they have some kind of
$20,000
$400,000
Better you have some kind of restorative justice
restorative
system
justice. That is the
where
cost of
you
my
have
head.
people pay back to the person who, the person who you commit the crime against, you pay back something or you work.
None of these should be
the
crimes
work.
of incarceration.
Yeah.
None of these should be crimes of incarceration. The incarceration is the bigger crime.
Yep.
In Trinidad and
Yep.
Tobago, it's a crime against that person's humanity, his natural justice. Because there are people in jail right now, I keep talking about this, that are in jail for years longer than they could have been if they were prosecuted, convicted, and given the maximum.
Still have people in jail for marijuana and all kind of thing coming up every
Marijuana,
week
yeah.
and all.
Petty crimes.
Nonsense.
Basically, my
Biden,
thing
look
is
at
this.
your boy Biden. Your boy Biden said
Yeah.
that everybody who is in jail now on a marijuana crime, they're going to vacate those charges
Yeah.
and purge their
Records.
records.
And we just talk about, people just talk about the corruption within the TTPS, the police service and thing, right? The law association, the law fraternities is like the TTPS on steroids. And nobody wants to address it. And I don't know why, nobody wants to address it. Unlike the TTPS, for all the thing we just talk, it have plenty of officers that go before the court for misconduct.
Yes.
But in nowhere else,
Who in the
in no
court?
ministry,
Who in
in
the,
no,
where,
it
does
don't
the,
happen.
where in the court? Where is the court for those in the justice system who should be before the court?
Before, correct.
Where
Where
is
is that?
that?
Where is that?
These things need to fix.
Yeah.
We need to fix all of this. Trinidad is broken from the top down. When you're locking up people for marijuana and thieving sneakers and things and spending $400,000 a year and holding that man for
Money
10
just
years,
waste.
that's $4 million.
And then Champa Kujo and them want to come to tell you want everything for nothing. Look at that overtime Bill Hines defending in the TGPS, $360 million in overtime.
Crime is paying in Trinidad and Tobago. Crime is paying. The Minister of Transport just said the flap that missing by the abattoir they
Oh gosh!
$200,000.
The floodgate? The floodgate? But you didn't see the article today?
The flap.
With your partner, who like to lock everybody out of Woodford Square?
What you say? Bring it
He
back.
calling on the thieves to bring back the gate.
They gonna bring
Martinez!
back- they gonna bring back the-
Martinez! Somebody, when you wake up in the morning, your wife or whoever you're living with is giving stupid juice to drink before you leave your house or what? What thief bringing back a gate weighing a ton? As a matter of fact, who the hell could steal a floodgate weighing a ton?
This is the point.
That is not an easy thing to
You know
thief.
somebody else? Have they investigated to see if the gate is at the bottom of the river?
On the river,
Because there is
I
nothing
think it
there.
fall.
There is nothing there that
Is
should
that
be
done?
there.
You had to come with hoist and all kind of
you gotta
things.
come in high up and or
Yeah, but-
crane or some kind of
Yeah,
thing.
but
move
it's a
them.
country where people teach for whole excavator.
Unless they hire one of the contractors that it is hired to pave road and thing to remove the gate so Senator can make the news to make an excuse for the flooding.
Smart.
I don't know.
You see, we talk.
That gate fall down and it's at the bottom of the river.
Stephan, I asking you this, and please don't let this go. Trinidad needs to have people that you can take people before. I want to take the minister. This freedom of information requesting is not enough. I need to be able to take the minister of works before a body for him to explain how the hell 2 pump cost $20 million.
Yeah.
You could buy a plane for that.
The man said $20 million for
How
two pump,
to
you know.
pump? How to pump? Listen, you can't justify that money. You can't justify.
And he said it's vandalized and now it don't work. You know, look, I go to Anelli Costa, I nearly do as Steve Matterson. It's no vandalize. It's lack of maintenance. It's the same lack of maintenance probably caused that same floodgate with all the water, the debris passing through there. But the recent rain to fall.
But Stephan, the man is in
to disconnect itself from the
Jackass Port of Spain floods when tide is in. You buy a pump to pump water into high tide, you'll flow back into the city. He's a jackass.
He do an interview.
That is like catching water in a strainer. The man is a fool. The hair dye that he uses rotten in the brain.
The man was interviewed by the media recently with the rain and the flooding, right? And he telling the media, say, well, you know, how come every time rain fall, all the rivers reaching the to burst the bank, they high, how come all over the place are flooding? He turned and telling me that, well, you know, it's a 50-year storm. It's a 50-year storm. So I'm reading this article, right? So I like the context in which he used it is like we get 50 years of rain in 1 year. That's how we put it across now. But I was to explain to people what a 50-year, what the term is a criteria. Matters, I don't know if you're familiar with it. The 50-year storm is a criteria that it is used. So okay, over the last 50 years, these specific years had the most amount of rainfall. So we need to accommodate this is the most amount of rainfall. So when you're handling your drainage, your water courses, you will design it to hold that capacity, because over 50 years this is the most amount of water that ever passed through the country. But you can't use that now, because back in 1950 the whole blasted place was bush. So when rainfall,
you have no runoff.
It have no runoff because the soil will absorb at least 50% of the water.
More.
Right, or more. So now you have mostly concrete.
The problem
so
is,
now you have to do it like 80-20. So you have to, you know, but the man use it in the context that we gain 50 years of rain.
But you sound like an engineer, and that's what you have to know. When you watch the water that runs down, brother, you could take a wind ball on Frederick Street and roll it down to Independence Square, and nothing is supposed to stop it rolling downhill.
It's supposed to be straight down.
It's rolling downhill, right?
Yeah.
Water, Bruce Lee tell us, water flows. Water flows. Just let it flow.
Bruce Lee did not tell me that.
No, but
the water is standing up.
but Mohan, you see, I don't know about the man stupid for spite. Water flows and catches somewhere. You see that point? Put a retention pond there. You know about 50-year storm? You know they have a worst case scenario. You know it can be 50 inches, that 3,000 gallon of water that can hit 30,000, 50,000, 100 million gallon of water hit Independence Square. You could put retention ponds. In this yard where you are right now when you're leaving, you will look there, see 2 tanks, 3 stories tall. See them? That built to hold water inside. The force of the water. If you watch a water bottle, you see all these little designs on the bottle. All of that is to hold this thing straight up, because the water want to spread the bottle out. As it get bigger, what they call is getting bends when they go too deep, and the pressure. When they talk about pressure, is water have a weight, and as it go higher, that weight getting more and more. You want to bust out those tanks. The tanks that you see outside here, 3 stories tall, that could hold water all the way to the top, means that wall is already holding the water. So all you have to do to make that a retention pond is come in the night, dig a hole 3 stories down, drop him in, and cover it, put a grate. You don't even need to build a retaining wall inside of there. The dirt falling against the tank, helping the tank, because it built a whole water pressure want to go so, they go hold dirt trying to go so. The 2 things holding each other up. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? That you could do in town in a weekend.
But here's the problem with that. You see what you now say there? Makes sense in today's world. The fact that his engineers that advising him before he go to the media to talk still using a 50-year storm criteria in modern times.
We're not taking calls today.
Tells you they're thinking backward. They have not adjusted to the time that we're in, to the dynamics that has changed. But they have not adapted to the time. So they're still using our old criteria. It should be a 1-year storm. Because every year it changes. You know?
You're not talking engineering. What he is talking,
and I am not an engineer.
He is talking jackassery, and I use this too.
You always does.
No, but you see, but that is what they you see, I said this a long time ago. The Kid Rowley that gave us Labidco and Las Alturas and Taruba, those 3 things. The only reason Taruba still standing is because we don't work it hard enough. That Aruba Stadium built on a place, the engineers they brought from overseas told them, don't build here at all.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
It is the reason why the Aruba Link Road that is passed by South Park there, forever collapsing on itself. Because that is very clay and mobile dirt.
I think it's a matter of time before that will be the center of a huge disaster.
And then we had to break Las Alturas down. They went to build an industrial park on the pitch lake. Remember that? That's what our money spent. The pitch lake taken back already. These people that keep Rowley having his government is because Keith Rowley is stupid and he don't like bright people. He framed bright people. Look at his part. Look at his cabinet. It's called members. I want to ask the two of you all a question. In a nation of so many finance gurus, because we have a lot.
That's the best you could find?
You are an engineer with a law degree. Nice call.
Call member should be doing Rohan Sinanan work.
No, because
Rohan Sinanan should be home.
Call him throw down too much wall to do anything to do with Rohan.
Rohan Sinanan should be washing on his backyard. He could probably figure out how to do that.
It's not the same, move them around each other.
Jeez,
all of them need to be fired. You're trying to tell me that Fitzgerald Hines is the best you could have found for Minister of National Security? Rohan Sinanan is the best you could have found for Minister of Works and Transport? Call member is the best. Faris Arawi is the best you could have found for Attorney General? Look at it. Shamfa Kujo actually told this nation, I never play a sport in my life. I could run, I could hop, I could skip. We have Atto Bolan. They give Dwight York and Russell Latapi, an Australian club, in the first year they win the Nation Cup. We have a man like Shaka Hislop that the world listens to.
Yeah.
Between Shaka and Atto and Dwight and Russell, even Brian Lara, all of us golf together, they couldn't give Lara the work. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? You give it a sham for Cujo and want to take credit when these people go abroad and get trained and come back and win a medal. Look at the cabinet. Look at the Minister of Tourism. He know anything about tourism. Look at him. This fellow Mitchell. Tell me. Marvin Gonzalez. You ever hear him talk? Keith Scotland exposed the depth of his intellect. He's a lawyer. He is a good arguer. But he exposed the depth of his intellect when he thought that people's stove in their house was running on diesel. That is how the coal pot come up. The conversation was the subsidy. Stephan, you understand? He thought they took the subsidy off cooking gas. That's how we end up with the coal pot talk. This is what you have. And Gonzalez to come and talk about macaroni and ham. They went down the wrong road. The talk was the subsidy and why we taking off the subsidy. But the point of the matter is, from your prime minister down, you see, they've been manipulated by a contract mafia who have been using this government to enrich themselves. Everything that was done was being done. The country on autopilot for everything else. I listened to Donna Cox today trying to defend what social development in this country is. They do not have a master plan. That is food card and handout nonsense still. They don't have a master plan to elevate people and take them. I just telling you, that's what the government is, and we said.
Look, they have a plan.
So listen.
Yeah, go ahead.
With everything you just said there, right? And the fact that you said that the parliament, well, not the parliament, but these people that run this country, all of them, clueless,
square peg,
and they are led by a prime minister who said he have a doctorate from somewhere in the 60s or somewhere at that time.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the best. What do you think about the PNM's internal elections and those that would have put themselves up for office?
Who? Roger Boynes? Karen Ulas Shera? This is a bigger joke than UNC internal election. This is a bigger joke than
the UNC internal election was like FIFA.
Faris with all the bacchanal going on with him. He gone up for PRO, unchallenged, unopposed.
Boss, I want to ask you a question.
So what does that say about the PNM?
Exactly.
But I said this at the start and I told Stephan, I'm not saying something before the show. I want to ask you in the show. this is what separates my brain from the rest of them in politics, and this is all that God ever gave me. This brain.
Yeah.
When Karen Nunes Teixeira told the nation that Patrick Manning told her about all the big companies and the big wigs that involved massive drug trade, remember she said that?
Yeah.
You were the Minister of Finance, and you did not see any discrepancies in their business.
You see anything wrong with that?
You see nothing going. No, before he tell you, you call him and say, boss, we have a restaurant at Arapita Avenue that nobody does going to, but they're doing $300,000 a night. That's a red flag. That's what a financial intelligence unit is for. You understand what I mean? I listen to a man talk in the British Parliament. He said, my job is, if you working for Ford Cortina salary, and you driving a Ford Cortina, I don't have you to study. But if you pull up here in a Ford Granada, I have to ask you where the extra money come from. And if you could show me that your wife have a side hustle and you're in a kindergarten and you make all extra money, fine. But that's how the country's supposed to run. Karen Nunes Teixeira, as Minister of Finance, should have known these businesses that operate at the highest level should attract your attention. Insurance companies, banks, anybody that trading in high finance, in large volumes of finance, it must add up. You are putting people in positions who cannot even detect wrongdoing is taking place in the bright light of day. How you could give them a government, a party and a government
And a government to run, yeah.
That's the question. Changing. Kurt Allen had sing a song. Same faces. The same faces. We see all these people before. I think I love Penelope Beckles. Out of all the people that could ever lead a PNM, just because I think that she's a nice person. But you know the problem I have? And I don't want Penelope to get vexed with me. But you're sitting in the government.
Well, exactly. So
But why I think
You're sitting there.
Why I think
come you're not raising your hand to say, brother?
why I think Penny didn't put herself up for office then?
Isn't she challenging?
But the last time she did that, they find all
She
of a
not
sudden
challenging
some
now for
she brought
leadership?
some guns or something.
I don't know. I don't think so.
If she not challenging,
She not challenging. It's Roger Boynes and Terrence Nunes.
But let me say something.
Does it?
No, I'm one other person. I think
Who?
it's
No,
four
they
persons.
send me-
It's four
Some
persons.
other
They send
irrelevant
me-
person.
But listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Only remember Campbell.
You know-
Campbell there with a pencil.
Let me tell you something. PNM and UNC is about maximum leadership. And therefore, with a government in office, a party in office, I don't think anybody, PNM supporters are like sheep. Nobody going to vote for Karen. Karen must have known that. Nobody going to vote for in any significant way for who they think is the leader.
This is a segue for Karen to cross the floor and join the UNC.
Well, the thing
And
is,
Yeah, but then
I
then
sense that
if
that
the
is what
UNC
is
accepts
coming.
it, then they lose even more
Karen is a woman.
credibility.
Exactly.
Because you
Karen
can't
is a
accept
woman.
after those
I mean, I have
statements.
been in the PNM for quite a while. I didn't know Karen personally until she left the party.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, we met in court. I was doing a trial, and she was sitting in the back, and she came and she called me after, and we spoke, and we met. We became really good friends, helping each other and that kind of thing in significant ways. But Karen, when I heard Karen with the revelation she made on a couple of months ago, I was impressed. I thought Karen was a person who would stand up for something. But this, I think Karen just lose a lot of credibility.
She
in the eyes of-
politically dead.
Yeah.
She dug
But
her own
PNM
grave.
people
Through the
want to
dust on
destroy
it,
Karen.
and she buried her political career. Any political
check
career.
that the tax catchment in Trinidad and Tobago is 500,000 people. 500,000 poor people. It's not 1.4 million people paying taxes. You know. It's 500,000 poor people. You do the arithmetic and you take out from zero, it's 20,000 people is born and dead in Trinidad a year on average. So when you do from 0 to 15, you work out those numbers. They're not in the tax catchment bracket. And you work out everybody from 60 who's supposed to be
No, well, remember,
Yes,
it's not
sir.
two kind of taxes. That direct and indirect tax.
boss man.
So
I just saying this to you. And I don't need anything else. I just want to give you all this.
the fact that they get back some, the businessman will get back some in the VAT. He consuming things too, so he paying taxes too.
I am saying to you, the bulk of the taxes and the poor people in this country need to listen. because of the 700,000 people that make up the catchment, 200,000 evade and escape taxes for different reasons. The government, including Governmental, they're trying to bring a revenue authority, have not paid taxes in this country for 30 years. Governmental, keep rowling, they've never paid taxes for their adult lives. They don't know what it is to have a chunk of your salary gone to government to do what the hell they want with it. You understand what I'm saying? Just take this back from me. I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
The revenue authority that is coming, all it could do is all those small people who are on a fixed income.
Just pressure them more.
It's going to pressure them more. It's going to find out who have a side hustle and tax that. That's what they're going to do.
Because it's going into a bank account and all that kind of thing.
They come in to press them further. It is the small man in this country that carrying this country. Don't let nobody fool you. Those 500,000 people that have jobs that you could, who get an offer 4%, those people, their taxes are the taxes that run in this country.
Yeah. See?
I agree with you.
Is it?
But they are the ones. I mean, they are the ones who are really. You see, when Dr. Rowley made this statement that nothing wrong with the rich people getting richer.
Encourage the rich to get richer so the poor can get jobs.
Yeah, I think he didn't understand economics.
I don't think none of them understand economics.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, when you give poor people money, the only thing they do is to spend it.
That's right. The working class is
and when they spend it, the world turn around.
The economy turns.
So you must have known that. And what do rich people do with the money? They send it abroad.
Because after you cross your needs.
So you had to be rich. You dummy because
the rich spend significantly less than the poor.
Yes, significantly
they
less.
get more tax breaks.
And they don't pay taxes. In a way, they give back all the taxpayers.
When you cross your needs, all the rest of your money works for you and brings in more money.
Exactly.
Your needs, if your needs is $1 million a year and your income is $5 million a year, 4 million earning money for you. $1 million is what you're spending. You understand what I'm saying? So your needs money, and this is the working poor that make up the bulk of our economy. The working poor is not the one going and buy the 100-foot Bertram and going and buy the Range Rover or the latest Benz. But the working poor is what spends the money up this economy so that the man up on the top could buy a Benz in the first place. You could count this economy on dynamite. You could count, you understand? It's mass. It's the mass buy.
So when you walk down, I was talking to a Syrian gentleman last night.
Yeah.
And he was chastising the government in significant way, but all for good reason. When you put the economy in the position that you put it in with these budgets, and you walk down Arpita Avenue on a Wednesday night that used to be packed, and you see just a third of the people or less than. Yeah, you had to understand economics and how this work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because those people, those business people, they had to pay taxes.
But of course.
And when you spend your money, it turns around.
Somebody said we have to stop.
So you killing yourself. You cutting out your foot as a government.
But he doesn't know.
I think they know this.
He's insulated from it.
I think
he doesn't know.
I think they know. I think they're trying to create, for some reason or the other, I think they're trying to create on purpose. They're trying to create hyperinflation.
Yeah,
the only reason
you damaging everything.
The only reason
the very people who you say to get richer, they're not going to get richer.
But they're not.
They're not going to get richer.
They actually get richer.
They go down start a hoard and
they actually get richer when the working class have spending power.
Exactly.
They enjoy, they make their money.
Somebody said, stop judging the economy by how well the rich doing.
Exactly.
How well the man on the bottom doing. What he says is a fact. You give somebody on the bottom rung a raise in his pay, he going and fix up his house.
Exactly.
He going and fix up his car. He's spending that money. he's going to improve his circumstances.
Exactly.
That money is coming into the economy.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the family move from eating wing and leg to get buying some breast.
Somebody tell me a case of chicken is now $1,500.
What? I know.
Somebody tell me that last night. I don't know. I don't buy chicken so much. I can't believe that.
But you move people from salt.
Brother, a tin of corned beef is $27. Corned beef, eh?
If you are saying those things to people who are watching and listening, and they are not understanding that this is the consequences of their voting, that maladministration, misgovernance, there is nothing about the budget. I unfortunately was silent for 2 weeks, and the budget came out then. And I listened to every other political wannabe talk, and none of them came to the point that we came to last week, the week before Thursday, when we said the purpose of a budget is to tell the entire country where we want to go in the next 12 months. That's the plan. So that the teachers and the nurses and the doctors and the workers and the technicians and the hustlers, everybody know how to align themselves. You ever find out something going on in the country and they say, yeah, piece of that, I'll make sure I...
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't have a clue. Trinidad doesn't know what it is. We are not in anything. The government is taxing the people into poverty to uphold itself. There is no industry. There is nothing of substance in Trinidad and Tobago. Our oil is costing us money now. That's where we reach.
You know what's interesting? Just this week on here, you saw the ship, the yacht, the super yacht that was parked up on the wharf?
Yeah.
A guy went on, he did a video. That super yacht, the Octopus, was owned by Peter Allen from Microsoft, who died.
Bill Gates partner.
Right. You know who owned it now? It was so interesting to hear him say it. It owned by a Swedish agricultural billionaire. And when you hear that, agricultural billionaire.
That's the next. That's the next.
You know what it cost the yacht? You know how much you buy the yacht for? 200 million pounds. An agriculture man had the money to purchase a 200 million pound yacht, super yacht.
Agriculture in the real world doesn't mean the same thing
as it does here. So where are our millionaires and billionaires in the agricultural sector? Where's the investment in agriculture?
Because they are supposed to be feeding us.
Exactly.
They are supposed to be feeding us $22 a pound for tomatoes. In a place where we could grow that, anybody could grow tomatoes.
I listened to that when he said a Swedish agricultural billionaire, and I was like, what are man doing different to our farmers on here, boy? What is we doing?
Because our farmers don't have support.
Right,
farmers,
exactly.
The government, okay.
Well, the government said, Rowley said the business of the government is not to be in farming.
What is the job of
he said that is private sector.
What's the job of the ambassadors and the high commissioners? Why they not identifying avenues for trade for Trinidad and Tobago? That should be their job. And if we find out that the world want pomsite, why are we not growing 10 million pomsite trees? Why are we not helping people get into pomsite? Why the government not come in and say, every tree that you plant in your yard, we'll give you $200 for the year when we come and take the crop. So you take 10 trees, you have $2,000 a year. People moving all their frangipani and all the hibiscus, and they planted pomsite because they can bring in some money.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? If the government decide that they can work with the people of Trinidad and Tobago to say, we are going to get into the pomsite business because the world wants pomsite, and I'm using this as an example. Please don't quote me as pomsite economics. But I'm saying that from there, you could find out that the world is buying Trinidad pomsite because they're using it to make sweets. So then we could start to get into, what do you do to make it make sweets? You break it down. You skin it, you husk it, whatever, quarter it, you compress it, you grind it, whatever. We find out, we do that. We start selling your pomsite mash. We go on to the next level. We making money. We created avenues for entrepreneurs to get involved in agro processing. And then we say, okay, let me dip we toe in the sweets making pool. We get them a market. And then all of a sudden we exporting, we growing, processing, and completing the manufacturing of pomsite sweets.
Yeah.
That is a no-brainer. That is what a budget is for. The government needs to have a vision for Trinidad and Tobago. How do we get into shipping? How do we get into shipping? You don't talk nonsense and say you're going to build a elaborate port and you never done it.
But they
Point
were-
Lisas is empty. Turn the whole of Point Lisas into a transshipment port. That's a no-brainer. We have the only port in the world losing $1 billion a year. Port makes money.
We have 20 minutes again. We 3 minutes to 6, so we started at 17 past 4. You're talking about vision, right? You know about vision? Keith Scotland gave us bicycles and coal pots. Simon in Oberga in the paper today on page 21. Page 21, and I put it on page 21. The Minister of Communication, your partner Simon in Oberga, hinted at a return of trams to Port of Spain. Speaker on Tuesday at the Standing Finance Committee of the House of Representatives. Away, listen to this, Oropoch East MP Dr. Rudal Muriel had asked about the budget's allocation of $3 million to a Port of Spain revitalization project on top of $3 million last year and $1 million in 2021. Finance Minister Governmental said it was a sophisticated, long-standing project handling many empty spaces, such as a lot near the Port of Spain market. The Nobrega elaborated that it included the Salvatore development, Memorial Park Plaza, the Piccadilly Housing Development, Power Gen site, and Citygate development. And he added that the project allocation also included hiring a consultant to explore the installation of a tram system in Port of Spain and environs. Intercity transit tram system. UDCOT is in the process of procuring a consultant for preparation of a pre-feasibility study on the establishment of a tram system within Port of Spain and environs to improve the transportation and accessibility in and around the city and the foreshore green space.
Morons.
Now,
morons in government.
they didn't put how much that feasibility study will cost.
Stephan,
I would like to know what that
Stephan,
would cost, but a
Stephan,
tram system within the city.
Stephan, people,
It's that vision, gentlemen.
People tonight, right now, tonight, 200,000 people in different parts of the traffic heading out of Port of Spain.
Yes.
The problem with Trinidad and Tobago, the traffic that is Trinidad and Tobago, is that all of those government business in town needs to move out of town to somewhere in the center of the island. For the cost of that feasibility study, the government could clear the land and make it available to developers in joint venture partnerships. You build the building, I give you the land, we split the rent. You win. You win. Forever. You have a guaranteed source of income from a government business. That is a win. All the government need to do is clear the land. They have plenty of people who have money all over the world. I'll come and say, all right, I build a 20-story building for you. My rent is, this fella, Nicholas Tower, 90% of it is government offices.
Yeah.
All of them paid over $1 million a floor. If I can get $1 million a floor, I give you 20 floors. You understand what it is? A good investment. The people will suck all of it out of town. All of the people who have to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning to get a children to school will no longer, well, that's a different thing, that's only schools. But decentralizing all of that out of Port of Spain, the only people who have an interest in Port of Spain still being Port of Spain is the downtown owners and merchants.
But you know, I want to know, as you
building
mentioned,
a tram for them is a waste. I'll tell you why. Because if you can't open Woodford Square in the night with some entertainment so that people come and build bars and restaurants in Woodford Square.
You have nothing going on in Port of Spain, but you want to find out, right? It just, you know, sometimes you just wonder things. I sit down, with Stephan the other night. And I studied that same thing you mentioned, decentralizing Port of Spain. And it dawned on me, and I said, but wait. On our morning, all these people will be coming into Port of Spain from south, from in the east. The only place that don't come from is Tobago, right? Let me just, right?
Nah, some of them is
Some of them come from Tobago.
Literally come from Tobago.
All right, so some coming from Tobago, some coming from south, some coming from central and the east. And all this traffic coming into Port of Spain. Where Port of Spain people is work? The people that living in Port of Spain.
Some of them, most of them is working Port of
Where
Spain.
does work? If all these people from different parts of Trinidad coming to Port of Spain to work, where Port of Spain people
You
is
know how
work?
bright that question is?
So I sit down
So I
and
want to
say,
say, you see, every time you bounce up a traffic light, Ray Furlong explained to them that every time you bounce up a traffic light and traffic have to cross each other, that is what is caused traffic.
Yeah.
Because you slow and stop everybody down when they light up and they're waiting to go. We have a Port of Spain in Port of Spain. But 90% of the containers that come to that port leave Port of Spain.
Port of Spain.
So on that 2-lane Wrightson Road, that becomes Beatum, right? All that traffic. If you moved the Port of Spain, Point Lisa's port could take the work. Just move the cranes. Just move the blasted cranes.
No, I'll have that in Point Lisa.
But I'm saying, move the blasted cranes. They have more land space in Point Lisa's. All their business gone. It cast already. You could make Point Lisa's, make it the port of Point Lisa's. Shut that down. You know what you could do with all that land space from Hyatt to move it up? That's billions of dollars in development. This government is a bunch of morons. If you move the Port of Spain, out of Port of Spain, all that container traffic, gone. All of it. If you zone the schools, but you have to fix the schools, you have to make the schools 10-year schools, you have to take away the SCA. If you make the schools 10-year schools, then you give the parents a vested interest in living with a child going to school. So the communities become owned so that the people have a vested interest in protecting the community. The country will start to work. You know this and you know this. The average person knows this. And then they look to the Red House and say, what the hell are you all doing? What are you all doing? And for 5-year chunks of my life, because I see this fella, former Minister of Energy, Ram Narayan, posting about the traffic. And I want to ask him, brother, you was in government, you was in the cabinet. You ever raise your hand? You ever say, Cams, let me decentralize now. You ever do that? Because if you didn't, Stephen Cadiz, if you didn't, don't talk now. You had a chance. You had a chance. There are big things need to fix in this country. A government coming into office have to abolish the SCA. Rebuild 200 purpose-built schools throughout this country that gives all the children of Trinidad and Tobago a proper education. The same level play field and prestige education. Everybody reading from the same book. So you could make sure that all the children in the country get the same standard of high education. But if you zone the schools, you ever notice when school closed, they have no traffic?
Exactly.
So when school closed, they have no traffic. And if you decentralize out of Port of Spain, they have no traffic and all the traffic done. Then you could have an urban renewal in Port of Spain. And people could come back and live there. All the buildings can be transformed into apartment buildings like New York City. You could have commercial and residential together. You can start to use all them parks in the night. All these people they're talking about who suffering and who are the seeds of crime and everything, the poor people in Mova, Bitam, Lavantil and Sealots, you will create so much work for them and create so much opportunity. So mommy and daddy getting paid now, so children can go to school now, so children can go and become doctors and lawyers and engineers, so the next generation don't have to be suffering and hustling too. Those things have to fix. Decentralized Port of Spain, proper purpose schools. Move the Port of Spain, out of Port of Spain, decentralized WASA. 41 WASAs. That's what you need. You need 41 WASAs. You need 41 decentralized pumping organizations. Capture, hold, treat, distribute. Every constituency have a different way they could source their water. You fix those things. You give people hope and opportunity. You build 41 proper accident and emergency centers throughout this country. You never need to build another hospital. We have too much hospital as it is. All of these things, governments know, people know, the average person, talk to lawyers, talk to doctors, talk to nurses, talk to anybody. Everybody already know the solutions. That's what I do. I talk to people, how you fix this? And they tell me, boss, all the land space you need to hold all the water in the country, you need underground. We're talking about buying train and buying tram. This next fellow, Rohani, he want to go out. He say he's sending out for international feasibility study on our traffic. Decentralized Port of Spain.
But the money coming from to do all these feasibility studies, the money that they don't have.
Yeah, how much money they spend to do the feasibility study for the
$500 million. $500 million for the rocket rail. I'll never forget that.
They pay consultants $500 million.
We have a priority bus route that does not serve the purpose it was built for.
Look at that. Look at the priority bus route. Look how Jack Warner was utilizing that when Jack was there. That was easy enough plenty of the traffic, you know.
We do not need a rapid rail.
But what
People
is the
keep
purpose
talking
of it
about
now?
rail. A rapid rail is designed to shoot from to go to a fast pace and get you long distances.
Unless you're
quick.
going to Matlat south.
Okay, but you're not. What we're doing is you're getting on a train and you want to go Sawa, Barataria, Curep, Valsain. That's what you're doing. So what you need is a normal train, and you could use what we call in America elevated trains. It's not expensive to build an elevated train. You already have the priority bus route. You don't have to acquire no land. Elevate a train above the priority bus route, boom, your problem solved.
I remember.
The same taxi stands, the same city gates kind of thing they have right up and down the bus route, you're using for the train.
But why we don't have more? I remember John Humphrey had done a design called the Arc or something to that effect. That was eventually
something like that.
Something like that, where it had multiple roads going all up in the air,
interchange.
whole interchange. That would have eased up a lot of the right, nice.
If Grand Bazaar car park wasn't built there, you could do it. But
you could do it.
You can't now. That's why.
But why we don't build roads going up in the air? Big freeways going up in the air, going over here, going over there.
But long before you do that,
We don't need to all necessary roads. We need to find ways to manage.
They have national traffic and they have local traffic. So you just find where the traffic, where you ever notice you're in traffic and then you pass something and then traffic goes.
And there's no traffic.
That point where the traffic gone, that's the problem that needs to be solved.
But more than that, I think we could. You hinted to something earlier on about how you limit the people by decentralization, right? And the same way you could deal with traffic by creating, like what they do in places like China and even in the US, right? So you have toll highways, you have carpooling, you have discouraged people from coming to Port of Spain in ways from driving, right?
But the 250,000 who come into work,
right,
is them you have to deal with.
Right. So that same trade thing.
You know why Brazil moved their capital city? Because Brazil realized they couldn't fix it. So start over.
No, but we could fix it.
Repurpose. But I'm saying to you,
our situation is easy to fix.
But listen, what I'm saying to you is, if you build a government city, a campus in the center of this island, you will generate so much jobs. You will create so much opportunity. You could not.
But we have that. We have UTT.
All I'm saying is this: you could purpose build buildings with showers and locker rooms so the workers can run to work. They can ride a bicycle like Keith Scotland to work, and they can bathe and change and go to work if they need to go to work. You understand? You can't ride to work in China and reach to work sweaty and sweating all over the place and on people. They'll cuss you.
What a right.
Keith Scotland is a fool.
In a jacket and
But
a
they
tie.
have no plan. You see, they all just stand up in front of the microphone. Who me? My turn? Let me talk to
He
you.
was a writer work in a jacket and a tie, in a whole suit to go to court.
Look, no, man.
He was a writer work.
Look, no, man.
Well, you're right,
it is a
you're
party.
right.
It's a cabinet of morons.
And then he come and he apologized.
There's one that copy the wrong set of things, boy. I mean, they go to the US and these places and they try to see these things and they want to copy it, but it don't work.
Simon just spent his whole life selling paint for his father-in-law, Fox the Fritters. I know all the whole family. I want to tell you what Trinidad needs now, more than anything else. And the voters of this country need to vote a government into office that understands the defined details. And that could tell you, don't come and tell me you're going to build a tram. Tell me you're going to build a tram, it'll take 2 years, it costs $180 million. And this is how we will do it, and this is how it will take the money back. If you're building a bridge from Trinidad to Tobago, tell me who building it, how we building it, what it costed, and how we getting that money back. And that over the course of 10 years, we will end up with a 75-25 split with China, and they building the bridge, and we get our money back. That kind of thing. We could do that kind of economics, but we don't. Because the government has contempt for the people. The people who vote for them, the government doesn't care about those people. They see us as laborers and consumers.
Sheep.
Yeah, but look, people have to understand the most valuable asset to any country is the people, is the workforce. If the government could do it alone, then let them go and run every sector by themselves.
Everywhere a Trinidadian touch down, we excel.
Yeah.
We excel. Look at Trinidadian excel at putting poor people in jail in America. That woman who was making up thing in the coroner's office. You ever hear about that?
No.
That Trinidadian, she was changing the results to help the judge jail people. That was a Trinidadian. Trinidadians can excel anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. The biggest artist in the world still is Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
She could have brought somebody. Look at Marshall all over the world now. You're seeing it.
Well, Nicki now do a collaboration. She now do a little collab.
She pulled Patrice
and Destroy.
She pulling people along.
Yeah. And look how we just treat Nicki. Like Nicki Naim from Trinidad. I really don't really well.
Because the government teaching you how can spit politics. We hawking and spitting on each other.
Look at Camille Robinson Regis. No, sorry, the TT Chamber. Work from home talks wouldn't hurt.
But Stephan,
No, it wouldn't.
we work from home for 2 years. The Lockwind we house for whole weekends.
And let me tell you something. That is how, you know, that,
No, work from home
We-
is not a bad,
we
it's
did
not
it
a
for-
bad policy.
but we
I
did
mean,
it for 2 years, right, Stephen? You ain't learn nothing? You ain't learn anything within that 2
You
years?
realize it is not the work from home. Rowley's a liar. Rowley is speaking on behalf of his financial handlers who own those buildings in town that the government renting. If you pursue work from home, Faris in-laws lose the rental on them to building. They don't need them. That's what's going on. Rowley, when Rowley telling Trinidadians that they can't work from home, he's a liar. He's a veteran liar because we did it for 2 years and the country didn't collapse.
Shamfa Kujo worked from home for 2 years.
The president working from everywhere but home.
You understand?
Yes, sir. They are lying to the people.
Well, I hear when she had to
saying
get
that-
breakfast in the morning, there's blocked the road. To drop breakfast home by her in down in Diego Martin.
The president?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, residents have been complaining to me about that. I have a resident that messaged me on 2 or 3 occasions saying, Stephan, what's wrong with this president?
So I want to ask you a question.
Every
If
time
that's
they
still
come
going
in to
on-
pick up and they bring in breakfast, they had to block off the road and all kind
So
of things.
Stephan, if that's still going on, why did we spend that
All our money on the
$107
president's
million
house, right?
on the president's house? Why did we spend it? It taken
So Parashram could get the order of the Republic of Trinidad.
so that is,
$107 million. We spent $7 million to renovate a cottage that is worth $2 million. Trinidadians don't understand. When I say those numbers, they say, oh good, oh good. They don't feel it in their pocket, but that's what the taxes mean.
but you're feeling it in your pocket by all the things that are taken away from you.
If 500 people paying all the taxes, and it costs 500,000 people paying all the taxes, and they spend $500 million to renovate the Red House, that is each of those 500 people hand the government $1,000. Each of those 500,000 people hand the government $1,000 every year to desalinate seawater that we do not need to desalinate. We just hand the government $1,000 each to build the Tanti flyover to West Mall that we do not need, nobody in the country needs.
Phillip.
We can't pay the people a proper, this fall in your garden. We can't pay the people a proper wage increase. We offering them 4%. For working, 9 years of work that we owe them for.
Which
We ain't
cripples
having
their
that.
spending power back to the economics that we're talking about. Eh?
Telling you.
If you had give them their proper increase and all of them spending their money in the economy,
I don't know, but hopefully the NACTA poll will trigger some sort of election. If they
general
feel
election.
confident enough, hey boy, let's see that NACTA poll. Yes, start talking about it.
You
gotta
listen
start
to
talking
Paris.
about
You
that.
listen to Paris.
Call
Press
an
conference.
election.
The man measured. You gotta give that, you know. Talking a crocus bag of ass, he lying through his teeth.
Yeah, he best suit, eh? He put on he get myself out a shit suit.
But like he was.
No, but you
Let me
can't
see the
get-
suit, let me
you
see the
can't-
suit.
That is something you can't get out of that. How you get
Paris
out?
went up
Why?
against better lawyers. You don't push people in their game and think that you could say, "Aye, we were game done." Ram
Look
Logan,
at there, look at it. Get myself out a shit suit.
Ram
Mommy,
Logan and Ramdeen go own that
my
suit.
asked mother to pull that out. Mommy, where did I put my get myself out a shit suit?
I tell him
I
that.
need it today. I call a press conference.
If I is Anna and Ram Logan, I will tell him in the settlement, I want that suit.
They will listen. Ram Logan and Ramdeen,
You're gonna take them.
they're so brilliant as lawyers.
Taxpayers,
Yeah, nah.
rub down some grease because you're paying it.
They're going
Paris.
to, they're going to take them for every cent the
And-
taxpayer could pay them,
Master.
Yeah, nah, man. And Faris will get, and he'll get away with it. He'll get away with it. He'll get away with it. Next thing you know, you'll hear Faris running easy head of the easy leader of the PNM. Now, next thing you'll hear,
But then-
because when people do things like that, when they
Then-
mess up like that, they just elevate them.
Did Gregory,
Let's get promotion.
Did Gregory Armour commit perjury in the States? Was that what took place?
That is what it looks and appears to be.
Because if that is not the investigation that followed, then we are not a real country.
Yeah, but
If
you
the
see, he
DPP
used.
If the DPP is not investigating Faris for misbehaving in public office now, for everything that is coming out of that Nelson gate, then this is not a real country. We need to insist on being, where Madoff died, Where did Bernie Madoff? Tom Hanks say he lost the majority of his money with Bernie Madoff. Where did Bernie Madoff die? He died in jail. The man Sanderson who invented the 2020 cricket.
Sanford.
Sanford is dead in jail.
The thing is,
Trump going before the court. They just decided that they subpoena him.
we are in the true sense a real banana republic when you really think about it. I mean, I hate to say that, but
Before you peel the banana off.
yeah. I think after. You know, I hate to say that, but
And your prime minister, who is banana Republican in chief, will come on the TV and say he don't like when people say that. But you are the cause of it.
yeah, but the sad thing is, you know, we, the people, are really the cause of it. You know?
Last question. Do you think that people now in these times, when they don't have no maximum leader, nobody like icons like Pandey and Manning that people gonna worship and kiss their foot and thing, now that is just throwaway politicians, do you think that the people are ready finally to move away from cult, tribal politics, red and yellow for life, and really start to put country
Here what I
first?
think, because I've been talking to a lot of people. I think people are watching.
Good.
And they are still trying to rationalize what to do if an election is called, because they're discontented with the two parties, but they are looking at the options, and the options had to put the house in order, because if they don't, it's either
We will be as much to blame by not giving the people a proper option. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely correct. And I wait to see what happened there too.
So we are 2.5 years to make a decision, because
he could call an election now.
he ain't going to call that NACTA poll. He ain't taking that shit.
NACTA poll.
His house on fire.
Yeah.
His house on fire.
PNM calling no election.
He go run out of water just now. The amount of fire you out in it.
Yeah,
they calling people like people in Pinal and they go Martin and take on water schedule.
Listen,
and one day you want to water that body fire.
All the money, I have much, but I could put all the money I have on that. They ain't calling no
Going to
election.
2025.
I was going to tell you earlier when I was talking about the construction. I said that mansion you're building up in the hills. How much the contractor charge you? How much the contractor charge in your square foot? You cannot give me an answer.
He building a mansion up in the hills. Up in the hills with a view.
Infinity pool. What's that? Matterson have it nice.
Matterson's mansion.
We get housewarming invite.
Will there be Playboy models and thing up inside
But
there?
here
We've
now.
been inviting people on a regular basis.
At the end of the day, what we doing, what the people doing, is what will define us. At the end.
Our votes
All of
have
this.
consequences.
Yes, our vote have
And it is
consequences.
time for all of us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to have this conversation. And I want to invite you on the 29th of October at 5 p.m. in Bamboo number 1 across from Grand Bazaar. We're having a little gathering. Come on, be a part of that.
I just want to close by saying, it's interesting to me that people haven't learned anything over the last 2 years. If you was paying attention over the last two years, the profession that they would probably least have any trust in is politicians. Politicians have led their people astray over the last 2 years, and they've done it using the media. And I'm saying that boldly. You have to understand what you're reading and if it makes sense. You see, like that NACTA poll, plenty of people read that and yeah, boy, you have to dig a little deeper than that. You have to do like what Pryor and they did. Go back and realize that, listen, this poll have no credibility.
Somebody need to bring out a factor poll.
My point is, my point is, we live in an era, and people have to understand the role of the media traditionally has always been to sell the agenda of anybody that pays them. That's right. It's who paying them more. Look at what happened over the 2 years of the pandemic.
But
the
NACTA poll might be a good thing,
I'm not saying no, but
this is why I want to put a call to all the deep pocket financiers out there. Call your boy now.
And I want to make the point that
we want to be able to play at that level.
I want to make a point that to the people that this is what you have to understand too. Outside of the media, how do you assess what is going on in your country? You pick up a paper, you read the paper. Where the newspaper get the story from? Somebody they interview, whether it's a politician or whatever, right? They are the source of the information. Okay. So you know it come from a source. But who checked the source? And I make that point to make the simple point. When your Minister of Finance presents a budget and tell you the sky falling, and he presents figures, and he comes and he reads out an entire 2-hour document, the opposition responds to what he has said, but not the reality of the situation, because nobody has fact-checked.
No, but you're not seeing the
Nobody
public
has
doing
done
that. We see the public doing that.
Right, but because we're in the age of social media where
Correct.
people, right, it's the same thing like the pandemic. The economists that have the diplomas or the qualifications respond in all of these conversations on all of these programs based on what the ministers said. But you have to understand, if you're telling me it had no money, how come you're still spending money? If you have no money, how you asking me to take the blow, but you ain't taking none? And by that assessment, with simple logic and common sense, you'll be able to say, but something is wrong. And I said something this week, I told somebody this week, until you drag me, until Col Mimbut or any politician carries me by the treasury and opens the door and say, look, it's empty, I not buying your BS. Because we respond based on what we are told. And it is time to stop responding
Absolutely agree.
and adjusting your
And
life
we
to what
need-
you are told.
what-
Let them prove
What Stephan Reis
that
is
what they're saying
saying,
is
what Stephan
factual.
Reis is saying
We can't respond
is
based on
that do
things that
not
are
let
not
the
factual.
politicians dictate the narrative. You have a responsibility
That's right.
to what you let into your brain. Do not think that Colin Emmett knows anything about anything. He doesn't.
If-
Don't
I
think
think-
Johan Simon
yeah.
knows anything about anything. He doesn't.
Doesn't.
Fitzgerald Hines is talking crocus bag and ask no more.
And just on the cut here, ask yourself this question. What is the qualification to be a politician?
But he can.
What is the qualification to be a minister?
A man in the road outside shouting things at us. We need to bring him on as I guess.
What is the qualification to be a minister? What is your qualifications? You go up
Yeah,
in
no
an election,
qualification.
they put you up because you're popular in an area. The people vote you in as an MP. Now, if you're an MP, no problem. And then you're given a ministerial role. But you are given a ministerial role based on what? Shampa Kujo get Minister of Sports and she says she don't know sports. Imbut is Minister of Finance, but he's an engineer.
Because you don't
Run
have,
it, Senator,
because
we
you
don't
don't
really
have
need this.
recall.
He's the Minister of Works
Because you
and
don't have
Transport.
recall.
Right.
Because you cannot, because you as the voter cannot say, nah man, this is not what we agreed on. I'm going to
Where's
sign
Fitzgerald
it."
Hines' qualifications?
No, but
He's Minister of National
Listen,
Security.
What you have to start telling the people is vote for a government that will give you the tool to fire these
You
people.
have a law degree and you have a master's in law.
Right, but you alluded to it. We have a prime minister who said he have a doctorate in what? Geology?
Fellas, I have another-
volcanology.
I have another rum shop to go to. I don't leave the rum shop. So.
Yeah, but all they understand, people they understand what we're saying. The same way, because 50% of this country did not fall in line during the pandemic. Right? Then we face that reality. And that 50% of people that did not fall in line, when we talk about the people standing up and what's the next step and the people and what we need to do, what you need to do, the other options need to do to grab that portion of people. You have to understand that 50% of people did not listen and buy in to what they were selling them. Because there was enough information out there to make them think. You understand what I'm saying? And they mash up bricks and they say, but wait, this isn't sounding right to me, this isn't making sense. I'm not going to do that. And you have to apply that to how you vote now. And if 50% of the country could do during the pandemic,
You see
a bigger percent could
you see
do
that word,
it.
you see that word you use there? Think.
Yeah.
People need to start a critical
They're
think.
doing
That's it.
that, and I want to tell you, tonight's show was one of the best shows we've done.
we say that after every show.
Close it.
Anyway, people.
I thought we closed.
Anyhow, we out for this week until next week. Thanks to Matheson, thanks to Phillip, and we hope the discussion was fruitful and educational and entertaining. Still waiting on some rum, but nevertheless, this was the Rum Shop Talk.
Yeah, see, rum shop.
We're going to the parliament. We're going to the parliament.
We in the rum shop. Guys, it was good.
It was good.
Who's that?
Donna Cruz.
Oh, Donna Cox.
immediately to a situation. There is a viral video at this point, and the narrator is Mr. Phillip Alexander, and he refers to a situation at a home in Diego Martin St. Finbar's home. I saw that video this morning, and I just want to say that in response to that video, he also stated that it's because the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services withdrew our subvention to St. Vincent de Paul that the home is in a state. I would like Mr. Phillip Alexander to please, get, Madam President, sometimes we need to get our facts before we talk. Because many times we just go on social media, we go in the media, even come in this house, and talk without getting facts, and I think people need to get their facts. In response to this social media post about the Finbar Ryan geriatric home, the ministry, that is a privately owned home. The Ministry of Social Development has no dealings with that home. It is a privately owned home. It is not subvented by the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. I believe the home probably falls under St. Vincent de Paul, which is an NGO under the purview of the Catholic Church. The relationship between the Ministry of Social Development and the St. Vincent de Paul Society existed since 1991 through the management of the Center for Socially Displaced Persons, which was located at number 1 Council Street, Port of Spain, better known as the Riverside Car Park. And this agreement came to an end in August 2022, which had nothing to do with any home, the Finbar Ryan home. So I just want to make that very clear. The point is that this followed this, and the closure of this home for persons who are socially displaced follows the fact that that facility was supposed to be a temporary one when it was opened in 1991. And Mr. Dial Singh, I want to tell you that it cannot be retrofitted because that was a car park. It was a place that was unsuitable for humans to be in for that long space. That's a number of years, that's since 1991. Therefore, we
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air conditioning units starting at $2,700 with free delivery, installation, and Wi-Fi ready. We supply Pioneer, Lennox, Comfy, and Infinity, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245. Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices.
JC Men, Gen Couture and Studio 52. Your one-stop shop that meets all your needs. From men's clothing to women's fashion, it's all here under one roof. This is shopping galore and fashion with a difference at Studio 52. Come visit us. We're located at Penco Street, Chaguanas, or call us today at 1-868-775-1747.
So, how are you enjoying your dinner, Booby Looby?
Well, it's really well seasoned and partially spicy.
Well, I make it my priority to exfoliate my meat before divulging in the steamy essence of love. Yeah, you know what I mean? Rub back.
Did he just put Alcalado in here? Are we still speaking about the food?
Of course, Booby Looby. Look, let me emancipate the AC to cool things down.
Oh my, that's cool.
Yeah, that's Neil cool, baby. Now who could be possibly summoning my time at this present moment? Don't move a muscle. I'll be back.
Oh, Neva! Everything good, oh? Very nice, oh. Wow! Neva! Nah, you see that walking away. Who's that way?
Neil Cool.
Who's that one? Hey, Charles, right. Who? Next, what?
Alright, Bobby. Apologies. Now we're rolling. What are you doing inside here?
You want to wise for it, don't already. What? Who that you want to see again, right?
Neil Cool, boy. Neil Cool. Come on, man.
Neil Cool.
Come on. You're killing my date, man.
Look at that, make a shot from a brother.
Just leave, please.
Go on.
Well, what trouble is this, boy? Now, where will we Scooby Louise? What do you think about having a brief entanglement?
Yeah, very more ice.
I tell you, Neil Cool, boy, Neil Cool.
Who's that?
Just come out of my place for my
Go on,
place.
man, go on, man, place and
Oh,
move so
God,
much.
you don't overdo it, man. You don't overdo it. You're just inappropriate, man. Oh, shucks. Man, cranky my style, man. Rock back.
If you're looking for the coolest of the cool, just call Neil Cool. Guaranteed to have the best prices and after service care. And if you're looking to save big on your electric bill, ask about the AKL units, 7 years on compressor and 2 years on parts. So call them today, message on Facebook or Instagram and get cool. Stay cool with Neil Cool.
Arichel Homes, a loving, safe, caring senior care living facility where your family becomes our family. Our experienced caregivers are trained and overseen by our registered nurse who has years of experience in psychiatric nursing and working with geriatrics. We provide a safe living environment for your loved ones. Come and visit us. We are located at 4 Roads in Diego Martin. Arichel Homes, we are family. View us on Facebook, Arichel Homes. Contact us at 684-2873 or 468-3186.
Tactical Enterprises Limited, located at Ramguli Trace, North Montplaisir Road, Cunupia. They wholesale and retail cellular phone and cellular accessories, smart home automation products, portable Bluetooth speakers, office chairs, and ideal gifts for the young generation. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Tactical Enterprises or call 716-2900, 469-9900 or 325-0000. Tactical Enterprises Limited, Ramguli Trace, North Montplaisir Road, Cunupia, where style meets technology.
Trinity Lighting welcomes you to our store at 123 Western Main Road, St. James. Trinity Lighting carries a wide range of bulbs such as incandescent, halogen, CFL, and LEDs for any application. We are specialized in light bulbs and parts for medical, marine, residential, and commercial use. Contact us today at 868-628-8373. Our professional team is ready to assist you with all your lighting needs.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber and Construction Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters of high-quality bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, fire-rated doors, windows, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, architectural moldings, and toughened laminated glass. Unique Group of Companies also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak for both residential and commercial projects, locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and dried in our computerized kiln at our factories facilities in Trinidad. Visit our showrooms to see the quality, which makes us unique.
I go drink today. We in the rum shop. Yeah. Yeah. 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 So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk. Yeah. Yeah. So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk. Yeah.